There's no time.
Lost. Tides. Darkness.
The time is
13
o'clock.
Hey everybody!
What's up?
It's Thanksgiving Eve.
Yep, people are saying we hope Tom and Jetty get fucking hella loaded tonight.
Well, what else is new?
Yeah.
I do kind of feel like, at least in the United States, I feel like in the last few years it's sort of become the custom to get shit-faced drunk on the night before Thanksgiving. Not for everybody, but I guess because so many people are off work the next day and you don't have to go anywhere, so you can just like sit around hungover and like eat really fattening food the next day.
Yeah.
And just kind of slug around.
I lowered
guess.
the video quality on this in case we have another problem.
Yeah, well,
So we'll see. So I'm
you
not
left your
wrong, but-
Xbox on. That's why,
Let me
because
turn that off.
it was kind of like
Right. So we should
going
have
in and out.
we should have a solid connection tonight.
I hope so. Like I said, I never like to say anything because it's almost like it jinxes it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not superstitious, but it does kind of like jinx it. I
Well,
feel like.
Got Thanksgiving rolling along. Did the cornbread yesterday.
Yeah, whole house smelled like cornbread.
Yeah, made a whole bunch of that. Got all that busted up to make stuffing and dressing. Got cranberry sauce all made. Got all the damn onions and celery prepped up and cut up. Got my stock pot going with the gizzards and the liver and the turkey necks. You know,
Which Tom's dad
yeah,
is
my
full
dad.
of.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. Got that set up. Got the turkey totally scrubbed down inside and out with salt. Got it sitting up in the pot, ready to go in. It's in the back refrigerator. It'll go in the morning. It's ready to go. But I gotta bring it out and stuff it. And then it'll go. You don't want to
He
keep raw stuffing in
stuffed it.
there.
Well, no.
No,
That's
but,
not a good idea.
I'll bring it out tomorrow. Stuff it. Fucking put the dressing around the inside of it. Put it in there. So I'll have to do. Yeah.
I like you put it in the oven, Jeff.
Got 2 pies baked. Yeah. Got 2 pecan pies baked. Got the pumpkin pie, but we bought that.
Yeah, because we
we
used
got-
that pumpkin that we had the other day to make pumpkin bread,
Yeah.
which was delicious, by the way.
Some of this shit, you know what I mean? It's no sense in making one of them because you have so much, you can make 2. So you might as well just make the 2.
And
Yeah,
why
right.
and why just make one? Well, you can
Why you
have
make
lots
one?
and lots.
We can throw it away, but I can make 2. You know. I got 2 other turkeys, but I was thinking for Christmas and in between, because it's so cheap up here right now for that.
It's really weird. I do kind of feel and like I said, everybody's different. I'm not hating, but some people are just kind of like Danny Rolling Ghostface said, I'm having crab cakes instead of turkey for Thanksgiving this year, just saying. And I do kind of feel like a lot of people really don't, maybe not a lot of people, but some people really don't like turkeys. They're always kind of like they want to do some other kind of fancy meal. And I mean, shit, man, crab cakes, there's nothing wrong with that because I love crab
It's
cakes
like
too.
turkey.
But honestly, I love Thanksgiving. I love turkey. I love
Yeah.
mashed potatoes. I love stuffing. I love pumpkin pie. I love all that shit.
Yeah.
I think if I ate it every day,
Yeah.
I would probably weigh 1,000 pounds. 1 and 2, I'd probably get sick of it. But you know, I honestly like some people are like, well, you know, we make the Thanksgiving thing and then you have leftovers for like 2 fucking weeks
Yeah.
or whatever, and after a few days, Tom's always like, man, I'm so sick of like turkey sandwiches and stuff. I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, she'll eat it forever.
I'll eat a turkey sandwich every
Yeah.
goddamn day.
And
I don't care. I love it.
I totally strip that turkey of all meat by day 2. I'll debone the entire thing. I'll have the back, all the little oysters. What do you call them? The little soft spots off the damn back. I'll have all that stuff deboned. So I'll have a big container. Sometimes I'll just have it in a Ziploc bags, big heavy-duty Ziplocs, just all the meat. So you can just reach in there and grab a handful of damn meat and put it in something. Yeah, make some kind of... Thanksgiving is the most British of all the American meals, basically. It's like a British meal, although turkey is not British. We'll
No,
sometimes have... I bought a ham, but I don't think I'll cook the ham. This is going to be too much. I'll cook the ham later. That spiral cut ham was on sale. So.
Yeah, because some people like to have both. I mean,
Yeah.
at my mom's family, they'd always have a turkey and a ham.
You're right.
Whereas my dad's side of the family, you do turkey for Thanksgiving, and at Christmas you do a ham.
Yeah.
And like it is, we didn't usually do a turkey at Christmas.
A lot of what you're gonna cook, it depends on one, how many people you're cooking for, you know, and whether or not you're cooking in a group. Some families will have 3 or 4 members of a family chip in and make a big meal, and then all the relatives come over. Just depends on the situation. Friends can do that too. One person doing it all, I mean, you can do it. We did it. It's not that expensive. It's just that most families don't, I don't think. What does it say?
Thank you, Tila.
Oh, yeah, Tila's in the house. What's up, T?
I guess she says FedEx your Thanksgiving leftovers to me, right?
Yeah, okay.
It's like, I'm not going to have any,
All right.
I'm going to eat them all, but
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it wouldn't be good probably by the time it got there. I'd have to wrap it all up and down. Have to wrap it up and down, dried ice.
Yeah, Dermot said that they'd made turkey curry one. Yeah, we did that one year
Yeah,
too. I
made
think
turkey-
last year, or the year before.
Yeah, not for Thanksgiving, but turkey.
No, but
curry.
like after,
Yeah.
like after with the
You can
with the
do turkey
leftovers.
curry, and the main vegetable in the turkey curry can be pumpkin. We've done that. Remember, I made. It wasn't curry though. It wasn't turkey though.
I think it was chicken.
It was chicken and
It was
pumpkin
chicken
curry.
and pumpkin curry. We made
But
that.
turkey would have worked fine.
I think that was after Halloween.
It was after Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dermot said we have turkey and ham for Christmas in the UK. A lot of people here do as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, I guess.
It's the same meal here. Thanksgiving and Christmas is real close.
I mean, pretty much. I think there's more variation in Christmas just because.
yeah.
You know.
You're not restricted to turkey.
Yeah.
Basically.
Although, like I said, I love turkey. And it used to kind of make me mad, like, because my dad's side of the family, like I said, they'd only do a ham. That was, like, their big thing at Christmas. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes people would bring other stuff, you know, but, like, for sides, like ribs or meatballs or something. But it's just, I was always kind of mad. I was like, why can't we have another turkey? They're like, wait, aren't you sick of turkey? We just had one for Thanksgiving. I'm like, yeah, but
End of the year,
they're good.
End of the year, turkey goes on sale. Christmas tends towards ham in the United States. But turkey's going to come up for sale. It's going to be 60 cents a pound, 49
yeah.
cents a pound. I've seen it cheap.
Like I said,
You go
hardly
like, oh,
anybody buys them the rest of the
Yeah.
year. So it's like whoever
Right.
raises turkeys is always
They're
just
trying to
kind
get
of like
rid of 'em.
they're trying to get rid of all of them, like for the holiday, because, like I said, most people don't think to
Yeah.
buy them the rest of the year.
And, you know, I don't know how it's going to be this year, but just the past couple years, after Thanksgiving, like the day after Thanksgiving, you'll find big-ass fucking turkeys on sale. 39 cents a pound, 49 cents a pound, frozen. People just walking by them, and I'm going, dude, that's a $6 turkey. Look
That's
at the fucking
food.
size of that thing. $7 for that fucking turkey? Oh, no, we're taking that.
Yeah, it's like we could eat off
Eat that
for
fucking 2
months.
weeks. Yeah. And it's just because it's going to go bad, so they're just pricing it to go.
Well, yeah, it's
Nothing.
better.
Yeah.
It's better for people to buy it.
Another thing I've learned here in Florida is if a hurricane's coming, you wait for that bitch getting close. Wait for it to get fucking close. All right, like 2 days away, a day away. Run down to Sam's and go buy up all that shrimp. Cause remember when we were getting that shrimp, big old fucking
That's right, bags of it for like
4
really cheap.
pounds of shrimp, fucking on. It was they were deheaded, but they had shells on them, and they were the big shrimp. Normally it'd be about $20 for a bag. We were getting them for about $6 a bag.
Yeah, because like
Remember
I
that?
said, they were like, well, our power's going to go out.
Because, yeah, everybody's thinking the power's going to go out, so it'll all go bad. So the stores are just trying to get rid of them. And then people are afraid to buy it because, well, if I lose power, it'll go bad. And I'm like, I got 2 generators. Give me the shrimp.
Give me that.
Give me the shrimp. Yeah, that's right. So I was guardian of the damn shrimp. Guardian of the shrimp. And then the power didn't go out anyway.
That's true. It didn't last
No.
time.
We were eating shrimp boil just for fun. Let's make a shrimp boil. Just huge piles full of shrimp. Me and Jenny with that damn shrimp spice dripping down our fucking elbows, picking up corn, pieces of potato, big old things of potato, and all those fucking
Like
shrimp.
savages.
Just, yeah. Sometimes I said, fuck it, just shrimp. Sit there and eat like 2 pounds of shrimp meat per each one of us.
Like I said, shrimp, it's very, like boiled shrimp, it's very, very easy to easily just like eat your weight in that shit
Yeah.
without even really feeling all that
Yeah.
full.
It's because it's all protein.
I guess, yeah.
It's all protein. It's super good for you.
Mm.
So in bodybuilders that are pescatarians, eat nothing but fish and shrimp and crab, you can build an amazing physique on that if you're on the sauce. Shit, yes.
I mean, honestly, if I had to pick like one kind of meat, like a vague kind of meat, I would probably pick seafood, to be honest. It's my favorite. I'd be sad that I couldn't have like turkey or hamburgers or stuff, but if somebody like was gonna kill me if I could only eat one other kind of, you know.
Some of them people off those islands are just sick of shrimp. Can't they just give it away for free at bars like popcorn?
Well, yeah, I get
They're
that.
just
Anywhere, you know, well, it's just kind of like people in Maine. They're like, look, if I never see another fucking lobster, Jesus Christ. It's like, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's like everywhere. But I don't know. I can see that. But like I said, I don't get sick of Thanksgiving leftovers even after like weeks and weeks. I'm always just kind of like, man,
Yeah.
I should be sick of like yummy turkey sandwiches with stuffing on there and some salt and pepper, but I'm not, you know.
Bee's Nest is asking if I'm going to make turducken. No, I'm not make turducken. If you guys don't know what turducken is you get a damn. First thing you want to get is you want to get a Cornish hen. And you slide that inside of a turkey. Excuse me, you slide that inside of a fucking chicken. And then you put the chicken inside of a duck. And then you put the duck inside of the chicken. And then you fucking deep fry it.
Yeah.
In a huge fucking pot full of fucking peanut oil. With a burner underneath it outside. You don't want to be anywhere near that shit. Because it's going to be sitting on a big stand. And you do not want to be anywhere around a fucking big ass 10-gallon pot of fucking peanut oil if somebody spills it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like some shit out of the
That
medieval
would be
period.
bad.
You will not be able to get your pants and your boot off fast enough. The skin will come right off with
Yep,
it.
all your skin's going to come
Yep.
right off.
Yep.
Not be a happy
So
holiday.
you've
for
got to
anyone.
fucking have experts on getting that fucking turkey out of that fucking boiling ass fucking pot. And you don't want any dogs or children around. They can't be around. That shit's fucking risky. Unless you're drunk. When you're drunk, it becomes safe.
So magically, we're not sure that works.
It's no problem.
Mark says, I can do it, I can do
grab
it.
the hook. You want to put a pole and have a hook in it, a metal hook ready to go, and fucking like, you know, a big ass metal fish hook with some wire around its legs, and then you fucking get the hook, and then you put it up on a fucking, grab it with a pole, and put the pole on a fucking wooden bar, and two guys lift it up out of there and let all the fucking juice drip out of it, and lift it over and put it in a metal pan. That's the easiest way to do it.
And then we're gonna blow up a fucking anvil in the air,
Yeah.
like right next to the pot.
Don't tell them about that.
Because we're drunk and
Yeah, it's called anvil shoot.
Yes. Saunders is laughing about the when you're drunk it becomes safe.
Yeah.
Actually, Sandra, we haven't seen you in a
Yeah,
while.
where the fuck you been?
Her name now is Sandra knows it's hell being a sex symbol.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I remember where that came from.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. It's hell being a sex symbol. I gotta fucking get in there with like a GoPro and fucking take films.
Yeah,
on
you went yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, I went yesterday. It was
Yeah.
good. Yeah, good time.
Was the sex symbol guy there, being a sex symbol?
Yeah, he was there.
He
was
was?
up at the bar. Yeah, he wasn't totally drunk yet though.
He was just
They had the High Council there.
the High Council.
Yeah, it's all the fucking, the High Council are all the military guys who are in their 70s. They just sit at a table and all confer with one another, and they're all wearing their damn jackets and their hats and shit. And
I got some
they're
important
super
shit to
days. Come on over there. Nah, I'm busy. They want inviting me over to the High Council table. Yeah, I didn't have time for that though. They're too old.
You're like, I got drinking to do.
Yeah, they're too old.
Holy shit.
Yeah, well, they're just they're not bikers per se. They're more like golfers. You know, like the guys that would walk around at the VA meetings with the fucking walkers and their little fucking jackets and the hats and shit.
Yeah.
The vets. You
Yeah.
know? And a lot of them are officers. I'll talk with them, but I don't really hang out with them, you know, long term. You know, it's just, you know, they're just too old. You know.
Sorry, you guys
Yeah,
are
you
just,
guys are just too old.
Too old. You're just
Yeah.
too old.
Not old enough to be at that table. Yeah.
Tila says, Jenny, when are you going to make an appearance at the bar? I don't know. Maybe I will one of these days.
Music will drive you crazy.
It probably will.
I got friends in low places. That's what you're gonna hear.
I know.
Fuck, that shit drives me fucking
Like
crazy.
I said, I grew
sometimes.
up around that shit. And everywhere I worked, like, played those radio
Yeah.
stations, too. So I'm kind of used to it.
You gotta know, if you go in there in the evening, it's gonna be fucking country. All right? I like to go there in the day when you can go on the jukebox and play rock.
Yeah.
Because they'll play that too. You know. But evening, they're gonna put fucking country in there.
Well, I'm not going there in the evening.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Well, the sun went down, so I was there. Remember?
Yeah, that's right.
It goes down earlier now.
Well, yeah. Yeah, Sandra says, first you changed your time, and I was always here at the wrong time. Then we changed the time, and I was wrong again, and then I was away for a while. You know what happened this morning? You know how when did we put the clocks back? It's been a while, right? Like a week ago, maybe, or more. Whenever we put the clocks back, and I thought that I'd got all the clocks. Most of the clocks do it like automatically, obviously, like the computers and the phone and everything. But I could have sworn, god damn it, that I had put back my little digital clock that's on my bedside table. But this morning, I looked at the clock and I was like, wow, I slept till like 9:30 or something like that. I was like, wow, that's pretty good, since I was up half the night. But then when I came in my office, I was like, wait, it's only 8:30. What the fuck? And then like I was like checking. I was like, why are all these wrong? So I was like, for a whole week, I've been getting up in the morning like and thinking it's the wrong time, and like so I've been like having the wrong time like all week. What the fuck?
Camp guy's talking about knowing people making pressure bombs. Yeah, okay. He's trying to get me to tell stories about anvil shoot. It happens down in Mississippi on Super Bowl day. You'll hear these in certain areas. You'll hear these explosions, all right, and then you might hear the cops. Depending on where you are, the cops will go down there and they're looking for where those explosions are coming from. They know what it is. In certain villages in Mississippi back in the 80s, 90s, this was the 80s, late 80s when from the story I'm telling you about, they'd have these Super Bowl parties out in these Mississippi villages, and they used to do this thing called anvil shoot, and this shit was fucking dangerous. All right, you get you a big old 3/4 inch steel plate about the size of a manhole cover or bigger, and you cut a hole in it using a torch, and then you weld some pipe on the bottom of it, okay, about 6 inches in diameter and about a foot long, and it's got to be threaded, and then you screw an end cap on it and you weld all that together. So you got a plate with a tube with an end cap, and it's all welded into one big solid thing. You take that and you put that in the back of your monster truck, and you take it out somewhere, dig a hole, and then drop that little tube into the hole. So you got a plate sitting on the ground with that tube going into the hole. Then you take some levels, with a little bubble in there, and you get that thing perfectly fucking level. You're piling dirt, taking dirt away. You want to get it so all those little bubbles are perfectly in the center. And then you take 1 pound of gunpowder or black powder, and you pour it into that tube on that plate. And then you take a bit of fuse that you use from dynamite fuse, or you can use a model rocket igniter and a battery on the end of a wire. That's one way you could do it. And you put that down in there with the gunpowder. And then you and your friends grab an anvil and walk over to it and gently put that anvil down over that fucking hole with the gunpowder in it. Run off, run, light the fuse and run, basically is what you're going to do. All right. Boom! It blows that anvil way up into the sky. Everybody sits there and watches it. All right. And what you're trying to do is get the anvil to come down and hit the plate that launched it. So bing! And some guys will bet on it, some guys won't. And you're doing this to commemorate, to make the inauguration of the fucking Super Bowl.
That makes total sense.
Makes total fucking sense.
In a way that it completely does not.
It makes total fucking sense. It'll get loud. It'll get so loud it'll blow. Sometimes it's loud enough to rattle windows or break a window. So you got to be careful about it. But so we set off the anvil. Boom! And the anvil goes up, and there was something about the way it launched. It went kind of sideways, and fucking they forgot to shut the door, and the dog saw it and started barking at the anvil, and sees it in the air, and it's coming down, and they go, grab the dog. The dog is running, trying to catch the anvil, and jumps up into the air with its mouth as the anvil's coming down, misses the anvil. All right, misses the anvil.
Well, thankfully.
The anvil missed him and landed into the ground, made a damn crater, and the dog fell in the crater. That's my fucking.
You guys.
That's my fucking anvil shoot story.
So irresponsible.
We were going no, and the fucking
poor dog.
And I can see that dog fucking.
How would you have felt if that anvil had crushed that poor little dog's head?
It wasn't a little dog. It was a hunting dog. It was pretty big.
Well, the big dog's head then. What difference does it make?
It got away. They forgot to shut.
I would have never been able to unsee that.
I remember it fucking that dog in the air in slow motion with its teeth coming up trying to grab that anvil. I'm going, no! Fucking all the hair stand up on the back of my head. But he missed it and it fucking boom. And when the dog landed on the ground, he was still moving forward a little bit and fell in the hole. And then he jumps up out of the hole like, what was that?
Newsflash:
He had
drunk
no
rednecks
idea.
are idiots.
He had no idea what happened. Yeah.
DJ Maniac says, Ilsa Lansdale and I are working on a 13 o'clock podcast drinking game, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, and Sandra says, every time Tom mentions testosterone, someone should drink. You would be dead in the first, half an hour.
No, I don't have to mention that.
Every time he changes its subject, you can change the thing. Somebody says, every time I laugh into a glass or giggle into a glass. Also, maybe... Sandra said something else I say all the time. I tend to say stuff like I said. I say like I said a lot.
And you say and stuff like that.
And stuff like that. Yeah, I say those kind of things too.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
And stuff like that.
So, well, yeah, I notice it because like when I record my videos,
Yeah.
sometimes I take it out, but sometimes like fuck it. That's just how I talk, so I'm just like not gonna worry about it. But yeah, so
And stuff like that.
yeah.
I remember. I remember.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to be responsible for like people dying of alcohol poisoning from that, but yeah.
Somebody says so you can still use the anvil for fucking mechanical purposes. The anvil is almost totally untouched. It's totally untouched.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. You could use it over and over again. The blast that sends it up into the air, the impact into the ground, nothing. Perfect. So it's not like you're wasting the anvil. You got to get it out of the ground though. Takes a couple guys. It buries it. It buries it a good 3 feet. Boom. Dirt goes flying. It's like a bomb hit. Kinda.
If that's
It's like something fell into the mud, but it's not mud. It's just regular dirt. But under those amount of forces, dirt just kind of ripples like a damn water. You know?
Yeah. Danny Rolling Ghostface says, you guys say, know what I mean.
Know what I mean?
More than Ernest from the Ernest Bill.
Yeah.
Know what I mean, Vern?
Yeah.
And DJ Maniac says, allegedly. Yeah, because I usually say that, like, if I'm talking about something that somebody said that I don't actually buy, so or that I don't think actually happened, I'll be like, allegedly. Or if I don't want to get in trouble, you know.
We're drinking Sky vodka. She's just drinking Sky vodka and orange juice. Mine's got maracujá, which is in English is called passion fruit, with orange juice. Passion fruit, orange juice, and vodka. Man, shit's good. You see,
He's fruity and passionate.
Germans don't know anything about maracujá, also known as passion fruit. You can look that up, Sandra. That's the next one. I showed you peanut butter. Go check out passion fruit. Man, that shit's good. I got addicted to it when I was in Brazil. And they'll grind up a fresh passion fruit and pour vodka in it. Man, that shit's good. That's basically what it is. I got there. Passion fruit, sugar, and vodka. But I'm not gonna pour a bunch of sugar. Instead, I'll add a little bit of orange juice, which is sweet enough to kind of act like
Holy
sugar.
fucking shit, they put passion fruit and sugar?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck me.
Brazil is all about
I like sweet
sugar.
shit, but
Oh, man.
that's a little much.
We had this thing called a caipirinha, all right, which was pinga, which is kind of like Brazilian Everclear. You throw a half a damn lemon, and Brazilian lemons are green, so it's not quite a lime. It's in between a lemon and a lime. You throw that in there with the pinga, or the cachaça, and then about a third of a cup, it's a shot of pinga. And then probably about almost a quarter or 1/3 a cup of a sugar over that. And then you grind it with a pestle. And what was the next thing they put in there? That was it. That was it. I think, and then maybe it was more pinga. And it's called a caipirinha. And it was nothing but just sugar and ice. Sugar, ice, and pinga. And lemon juice out of that thing. Man, that shit was fucking strong. If you use vodka, it's called a caipirosca. You grind it, it's got the peel in it and everything. And you just kind of... Fuck, that shit was insane.
Sandra said we do have passion fruit.
You have passion
Even
fruit?
sounds the same in German.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah.
That shit's fucking good. It's not popular in the United States, but it's real popular in Central and South America.
I mean, you can get it here,
You
but
can get
it's
it
not.
here, but nobody likes it. They
Yeah,
don't-
it's not like a real.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's okay. I'm just like I said, it seems a little sweet for me, which is kind of why I'm alarmed that they're like putting sugar on top of it because I'm
Yeah.
like it's already really sweet.
South America.
Yeah.
South America. We had a dessert called quinjin. It's an Indian word, and it's like custard. It's really, really fucking sweet. It's got a layer of coconut, and then like custard, and it looks like a little upside down cupcake. And then you pour caro syrup on it. It's spelled Quimdin.
I put that in the cookbook.
Quindin. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in a cookbook. That's right. Quindin. Really good.
But they're pretty small though, right? I
They're
mean,
little.
when you eat it, you would just
Yeah, they're the size of a cupcake.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, they're old school Brazilian stuff.
DJ Maniac says pinga is dick, Tom.
What? Pinga in Portuguese means fucking. They're talking about cachaça, which is like, it's like Brazilian Everclear. Closest thing would be it's sugar cane alcohol, almost pure, and it's like drinking. Fuck, man. All right, that 100 proof vodka I have back over there is mild compared to Pinga. Fuck you up. Kind of like Everclear, but it tastes different. You can run a car off of it. We used to, because
If that's what you're into.
yeah. Brazil had flex fuel. And they had Volkswagen Bugs that were recarbureted, rejetted to run on alcohol, sugarcane alcohol. The gas stations sometimes were closed on Sundays, so you could get Pinga or cachaça for only a little bit more expensive, a little bit more than what you bought it for out of the pump. You didn't want to drink that shit out of the pump, though. It wasn't stored in clear, good containers.
That would never even have occurred to me, Tom.
Dudes would drink it. Dudes were drinking it. I wouldn't do it, though. So what you can do is you go to a liquor store and get you some cachaça and pour that in a tank. It sometimes it'll be a little hard to start, but once it starts and the engine warms up, you can drive on that. So Brazil had flex fuel back in the 70s.
Yeah, way ahead of the fucking shit. Way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, but it was because of corruption, really, more than anything else.
Well, you know.
It's like anything else.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So we're talking about vanilla vodka, Madagascar vanilla with vodka and orange juice.
No, that'd be good, yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
All right, so are we ready to talk about
Unless you have any shout-outs, we're ready to go.
Old West? Old West. That's what we're talking about. Ghost stories, Old West. I know it's not really, because I tried to put like kind of Thanksgiving adjacent topics in the Patreon poll. Just kind of like American history shit. And this one won by a long stretch. So I kind of feel like, and I got like a lot of comments when I put up the thing earlier, and a lot of people were like, oh, I love Old West shit and everything like that. So, I mean, the thing about it is that there are so fucking many ghost stories, like Old West ghost stories, like, and legends and hauntings and stuff, that I really kind of had to just go, there's this really cool site, I think it's called legendsofamerica.com or .org, I can't remember, and they have like a fuck ton of Old West ghost stories. So I just basically had to go through there and pick ones that I liked or that I thought sounded interesting or were kind of well known or whatever, so we could like kind of talk about them.
All right, Camp Guy's getting on me. He says, Tom, it's not called Caro, it's called Cairo syrup. In Portuguese, there's no A, it's an A, so they call it Caro. Caro syrup. Sorry. So I just use it that way. We have it here, but I don't, it's what do you make fucking pecan pies with it? There's not much. You can make candy with it. That's about it. But
Yeah, I remember buying it when I was a kid to make candy with. You'd make like hard candy.
yeah, but if you're gonna make quinjin, they're gonna say, "Give me some of that Caro syrup."
Yeah.
So, I'm teaching you some style, man. This is some culture. Give you some culture. Okay, you ready to do it?
Tom's giving me some culture.
I'm giving when I'm giving you culture, something's wrong.
Probably,
It's
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. There's another t-shirt. God, we have so many.
Bet you know I'm stylish.
Well, stylish and cultured are two different things.
Yeah. It all depends on your point of view. It all depends on your point of view.
Well, that's true of most things. Sandra says, Pookie is crazy about your treats, Ilsa. That's absolutely true. They're gone now, but she just finally finished all the box up. She ate them all up.
Yeah.
In almost all the shows I saw lately, she started digging for them. Yeah, because I had the boxes over there, and so because I'd put some out for her, like on the little dish.
Yeah.
But if it got empty, she'd be like, hey, you bitches, what the fuck? And she'd start like scraping on the box.
I didn't think cats had the intelligence to plan ahead or really to... No, they can. She has all these little dishes and all these little boxes around. She knows what color is what flavor comes out of what color. She'll go right up to a box of what she wants and goes, bum, 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 this one.
Yeah. Because we usually have like a few
right
next to each other.
And
like,
if
of
a bowl
flavors.
starts getting low, she's got a couple little bowls around here. She wants different flavors in each bowl at all times. And if a bowl gets low, she'll sit there and go, look. Look.
Like pointing with her little nose.
Look. That's getting low. And then you give her some and she goes, thank you, and walks away. She's not hungry. She's planning ahead.
Yeah.
And
she's like, I feel like I'm going to want that flavor later.
Right.
So
because she knows it's getting late, we're going to be asleep.
Yeah.
So no, they're a lot smarter than I thought they were. They're a lot smarter than they told me they were when I was a kid. We've advanced since then. Animals are much more aware of what's going on than I believed them to be.
Pookie's super smart, I think.
Yeah. When I was a kid and I was hunting, I thought certain animals were mean, and they weren't mean. Like, I used to think raccoons were mean. Nah, raccoons aren't very mean.
Nah.
You scare one, they can get mean, but they're not very mean. So a lot of stuff has changed. We didn't think you could keep certain things as a pet, like big cats. Man, there's all kinds of people keeping big cats as pets. Make a good pet. Mountain lion, make a great pet. It's just we weren't educated to know that. There's limits, though. That's a big cat.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, even a house cat will fuck you up.
Yeah. Beige put me in the hospital. It was an accident.
That's right. She didn't mean to.
Right.
She wasn't being mean. She just panicked.
You gotta understand, a person will kill you. Your child will kill you.
Yeah.
You know. Shit like that has happened. You just can't really live in paranoia. I don't let fear control me. You just, this shit could hurt you, but it's not hurting me now, so it'd be all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
Right.
Yeah, Sandra says cats can totally plan ahead and also remember things for a long time.
Yeah.
And they can think logically.
Yeah.
Any studies on that? Yeah.
They think very well and remember you, and they also are really good about knowing what your emotions are. They read body language very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Danny Rolling Ghostface says, not too long ago, there was some guy on YouTube talking about a haunted Wild West town that was offering to pay someone to be a caretaker of that town. But plot twist, it was haunted. I think I remember hearing about that, actually.
I sense bullshit.
Well, there's so many, like, ghost towns out there. Like I said, this was kind of like... I just sort of thought of this topic at the last moment, like, when I was putting the Patreon poll up. And I was kind of like, oh, that might be kind of neat, because you like Old West shit, and it's like... And there's so many ghost stories, and everybody likes the ghost stories. I just realized that we've done, like, paranormal stuff, like, all this month.
Yeah.
Because that's what always gets... what's always gets voted for. But I don't know, and like I said, it's not really anything to do with Thanksgiving necessarily, but it is to do with like American history. So
nowadays everything's haunted.
Yeah,
especially if you can rent it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just in a lot of ways, it's just like kind of a marketing.
It's a marketing thing.
Ploy. I mean, well, you know.
So all this, we got a ghost town. It's haunted. We need a caretaker. There's more to that story. They want people to come through there or something.
It is a good way of, you know, if you have kind of a bed and breakfast or something like that that's not doing too well.
Right.
If you kind of like spread around a rumor that some horrible crime happened there back in the old days.
Right. Try to kick up interest in the place.
Oh, it went red. Oh, okay, we're back.
It's back. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it went red again. Please don't tell me.
It went green. It's back.
Okay.
It's crazy.
It's just, I'm hoping that this is not going to be doing this all night. Cause it's
Look, people, if it nods out, give it a few minutes. Okay.
I usually, like I said, as soon as it goes red, I usually try to stop talking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it usually comes back. If it doesn't come back, we'll open up another stream.
Yeah. After I swear a lot.
Right.
Because shit should just work, goddammit, and I don't understand why it doesn't. So Tom knows some Old West shit. So
Yep.
like I said, just kind of feel free to. I just picked out. These are pretty much at random, or just ones that I picked out because I thought they sounded interesting, or had to do with people that were kind of famous or well known or whatever. So if I didn't include your favorite one, I apologize for that. But I just kind of had a smattering of different ones. So let's talk about the Jesse James farm. And this is in Kearney, Missouri. So this is the house where both Jesse James and Frank James were raised. Their mom, whose name was Zerelda, she was married to 3 different husbands, presumably not at the same time, because that would be something. And she ended up having 8 kids. Now, this house in particular was where Jesse James's brother, one of his brothers, Archie, he got murdered by the Pinkertons in this attack where she also ended up losing a hand. So that's kind of hardcore.
Want me to tell them what the Pinkertons are? Or is that going to be in there?
No, you can go ahead.
The Pinkertons were kind of like the Boba Fetts of the Old West. They were mercenaries. They were contracted. The Pinkertons also were the very first Secret Service and bodyguards to the presidents. So this whole weird thing about corporations merging with the state and the state hiring mercenary corporations to fight wars and to do things even inside the United States, that's been going on since the very, very fucking beginning, pretty much. The Pinkertons were the first professional detective agency. They made up of lawmen and criminals. They hired talent where it was. Wherever the talent was, that's where they hired. And this included very talented ladies of the evening. They hired them too, trained them as spies. Because even back then, they knew that if some chick was shaking out some pussy for a dude, in moments of weakness, he'll tell her everything he knows. Been going on forever. So, professional girlfriends. They were into that also.
Yeah, women make good spies.
Women, Sophie is going like, she loves combat shit. She's into women in the military type deal, and she's fucking not real happy with the performance of shit's going on with women in the military. And I said, Soph, a woman's strength, if you're going to go by genes and genetics and a female abilities, a women's biggest combat strength is to be a spy. That's really where that, you know, they prey on the weaknesses of men. Motherfuckers got loose lips. And, yeah. A single female spy in the right fucking position around the right guy, you can win an entire war or an entire battle. Spies. Female spies. James Bond? Nah. Madame Curie. More like that. Or better.
Madame Curie, she was a scientist.
Yeah. No, okay. No, what's the other one? Not Madame Curie. The other one. What was I was thinking?
Mata Hari.
I was
like, that's a totally different person.
Mata Hari. Like
yeah,
that.
she invented, she discovered radium or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. I was thinking Mata Hari. Mata Hari. Close. Mata Hari fucking...
Not really, but okay.
You know, a funny name. I've been drinking. Yeah, she was more fucking valuable than the...
Well, for a second, I was like, wait, was Madame Curie a spy?
No,
I didn't know about that.
Mata Hari. Mata Hari is fucking... She was more valuable than any fucking battlefield soldier. Yeah. And they've fucking showed up in weird places like some of these fucking dead women in hotels with guns somewhere in Europe. We don't know who this is and no tags on her clothes. We've done shows on them. East German sex operatives. That's what that is. Spies.
Well, they're pretty sure that that's what Isdal Woman was.
Isdal Woman,
that she was probably a spy.
Yeah.
Because she had all kind of wigs and different passports and shit like that.
Yeah.
And an itinerary that was coded.
They're recruited from brothels, usually. Brothels and prisons, or a mixture of the two. But, no, they can turn them into fucking badass fucking agents. All right, that's it.
Ilsa says, I'd love to be a spy.
Yeah.
It also says, where is Sophie anyway?
Sophie's doing. She's at home.
Yeah.
She's doing government contract work right now, fucking with the post office. But she doesn't know how this is going to go. She actually wants to come for a visit, but she has to see what's going on with the next contract that opens up.
Oh, okay.
She wants to come to Florida.
Sandra says, who knows? Madame Curie's secret life is a spy. That's exactly what I thought, because I was like, oh, I smell a short story.
See, these bitches want to drive it in the ground. I make one mistake, these bitches want to drive it in the ground.
Oh, I'll do it.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying that...
that would be a good, though.
That would be a good short story.
Well, here's the thing.
Sometimes when you misspeak or you say crazy shit like that, it kind of, like...
Yeah.
It puts together things in my head that I'm like, oh, that might...
Well, here's the thing. A lot of fucking spies were also scientists. A lot of scientists were also spies. Or dual operatives. Especially back in the Cold War, scientists that were involved in the nuclear bomb projects and fucking nuclear stuff. At that particular place in time, a nuclear scientist was, his knowledge was worth a lot, and the Soviet Union is worth the pay. The Soviet Union was fucking willing to pay a lot of money to know what he would know. So some of them were playing both sides. Although
I mean that's understandable.
But I think some of that, I think that's still officially classified. But most people believe that. I think his name was Oppenheimer. Most people believe that he was a double agent, that he was double dealing. Although that was never declassified, but the rumors were he was selling information to the Soviets.
Well, like I said, knowledge is valuable. And if you are the kind of person that has knowledge that a lot of people don't have, then, I can understand it would be very tempting.
They just needed numbers, theorem, and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's what the Soviets needed.
All right, so we're going back to
so Pinkertons. Talk about Pinkertons.
You talked about the Pinkertons.
Yeah, Pinkertons.
So we just said, the Pinkertons attacked this house and killed Jesse James's brother, Archie, and also shot off or cut off the mom's hand. Now, Jesse James was killed, not at that house, though. I don't think he was killed at that house. But after he was killed, his body was brought there and buried at that house because his mom was still alive and she wanted to be able to, like, guard his body against people that would, like, dig it up or souvenir hunters or whatever.
Which they did back then.
Yeah, so, because people were gross.
Well, it's worth big money out.
Well, yeah.
Back east, you could sell that shit.
Yeah.
Those were dime store novel heroes.
Yeah, and like I said, I think did we even ever talk about that one where that urban legend that turned out to be true about the kind of skeleton that was hanging in the funhouse? That was in Long Beach, wasn't it? Yeah. And that turned out it was a real a real body. It had been in there for like decades.
It looked wrong when I saw it as a kid. I was like, that looks real.
They're like, real. Wow, that's some good special effects.
Yeah.
It was. It was a mummified
fucking dude.
And it was from the Old West, right? Well, Old West era. It was like a criminal or something.
Yeah.
And then just his poor old body got like carted around all the different fucking.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The rumor was when it happened, they discovered it back in the 70s when I was a kid, when it finally came out that was real. And my mom was like, I knew that was real. And I was thinking to myself as a little kid, because she was next to me, I was like, that was real. They said that it was the mafia put him up in there. That was somebody the mafia had killed. That's what the rumor on the street was. This is pre-internet.
Yeah.
So people just made shit up.
That was because that wasn't actually the first fun house he'd been in.
Yeah.
The body had actually been sold with a bunch of other props.
Right.
Like around different fun houses.
He was a legal body. He was not an illegal body.
Yeah.
They knew it was real.
Yeah.
But it was just like a body you could buy, like buying a mummy. Which you can own an Egyptian mummy. You can own an Egyptian mummy.
Well, a lot of people did.
A lot of people do. Yeah.
Shit, man. Well, back in the old days, they were finding so many mummies that they were like grinding them up and
selling for powders and drinking them. Yeah, crazy.
So, which
they were using mummies to fuel steam engines.
But okay. Yeah. They're like, look, we just got mummies. Like, you just walk a fucking foot and you'll trip over a mummy. They're everywhere.
To be fair, though, they weren't ancient Egyptian mummies.
Yeah.
Not really.
I mean, it'd be different. It's just ones. Yeah, these were like minor mummies.
They were mummies. They were mummies from the time when Egypt was a Greco-Roman possession, and so it was a long time after the pyramids. But local Egyptians had themselves kind of tarred, dried, and they'd tar them up and bury them, and they were selling that shit back in Europe all through fucking centuries. Look, an ancient Egyptian. No, not really. Kind of more like a Roman from a fucking couple hundred years ago.
Well, still, it's a mummy.
Yeah. But they were using those things to power fucking steam engines because they burned for a long time. They didn't weigh much.
Yeah.
People are funny, man.
It is very funny. It's really
Yeah.
weird when you think about shit like that. I don't know, very strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was buried there for a while. He's not buried there anymore, obviously, because they moved his body later on. But I guess because of all of the shit that happened over the time, obviously, the Jesse James farm is said to be haunted. Said to be haunted for more than a century. So what people have reported is the biggest thing is people see lights moving around inside the building and outside where there's nobody in there. It's a museum now, I think, but so you can actually still go visit there. A lot of people have also reported hearing like hoofbeats, like outside, like a whole bunch of horses, muffled shots, and kind of like just something that sounds like a battle or something that sounds like, people shooting into the house and people screaming and shit like that. So there's lights inside the building after it's locked. There's kind of like stuff seems to move around inside the house, but it doesn't come up on the monitors. Like, you know what I mean? They have like motion cameras.
Yeah.
And the motion cameras will be triggered by movement, but it's like, they'll be triggered, but nothing's moving. You know what I mean? Like the camera will move, but it doesn't like show anything. Also, like I said, people kind of hear sort of like voices outside and horses like in the woods around it. But then when they go check, there's nobody there. Shit like that. So again, that's kind of like one that's sort of famous. Now let's talk a little bit about Cripple Creek, Colorado.
So that's it on the Jesse James?
Yeah. Like I said, I have like a shit ton of different ones. Some of them are long and some of them are short.
Right. Okay.
And some of them kind of have more of the history behind it and some of them don't. It's just dependent.
There's not much to say about Jesse James until somebody goes down there and investigates it.
Yeah.
I tend to think when it's hauntings around famous people, I tend to believe bullshit. Probably not.
Yeah, because I really do feel like even in the ghost world, celebrity matters.
Yeah. You're trying to sell shit.
Nobody wants their ghost to be some schlub.
Yeah, the chances of a fucking paranormal event and a celebrity happening at the same time are very unlikely. I've seen paranormal shit. Celebrities weren't involved. Chances are...
How do you know?
It's all very rare, and usually if something paranormal happens, a celebrity will not be involved. Even though they had a whole series on back when they had television about celebrity ghost stories.
That shit's still on, you know
Is
that,
it still
right?
on?
Yeah.
I didn't even think TV still exists.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, who's watching that?
I don't know, not me, but apparently some people are.
Ridiculous.
Well, yeah, because...
I heard they got gumball machines, too. Ain't that something?
Although, they have them in all those dead malls, and I'm just kind of like, well, I would never get any gumballs out of there, because who knows how the fuck long they've been in
gumball
there.
machines
It's probably full of spiders.
Fucking years. To me, television programs are like gumball machines. That's something that should no longer exist.
I'm pretty sure Celebrity Ghost Stories is still on, though.
Good.
Probably in its 40 bajillionth season, much like Ghost Adventures is.
Yeah. All television is a ghost event. Is all fucking paranormal ghost.
I feel like everything is ghost stories
It's all
now.
good.
Which I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it's entertaining.
The Animals fucking Planet was nothing but ghost stories. Haunted Dolphin. Haunted Dolphin Planet.
Not gonna lie, I would
These
probably
ghost
watch
stories
that.
and shit. And all of a sudden, oh, and by the way, a dolphin saw this haunting, and then it goes back to the haunting.
See, that used to crack me up. I don't even remember what the name of that show was. Well, Animal Planet.
Yeah.
As far I don't know. I don't know if Animal Planet still has like actual animal content. Like because Jackson Galaxy was on there and stuff like that. But they did have one paranormal show. I don't know about now. This was years ago. And I can't remember what it was called. It didn't have anything to do with pet ghosts, nothing like that.
No.
But it was always, I thought when I first saw that it was coming on there, I was kind of like, oh, are they going to talk about people that have seen ghosts of their pets?
Yeah.
Like my dog died and then I kept seeing the dog or hearing the dog or whatever. No, it's just a regular ass haunting.
Yeah.
But somehow the cat saw it.
Yeah, right.
It's like, it's very shoehorned.
Because of the licensing agreements of the damn channel, you have to mention an animal in every fucking episode.
They're like, Mr. Waffles got really, really upset one day when I heard a funny noise in the attic. And that's the extent of it.
And then that's the last time you hear about Mr.
And then
Waffles.
you don't hear about it.
Well, you'd think they'd do some shit like that with the dolphins. The big old haunting story. Oh, and by the way, there was a picture on the wall. And in that picture was a man holding another picture of a dolphin. Yeah.
I would, I'm not gonna lie, I would watch a show called Haunted Dolphins.
Yeah. Haunted dolphins.
That gives me another idea for a short story.
You got
A really dumb one.
You gotta wedge a dolphin into the story somehow. Yeah, and the ghost, and I saw the ghost, and I was walking by. And what were you wearing that day? Oh, I was wearing this t-shirt, jeans, and fucking tennis shoes. What was on your t-shirt? Picture of a dolphin. Miami Dolphins. Okay, there you go. That's good enough. We're gonna have a whole episode.
That's animal. It's animal content.
Yeah. Dolphin haunting. Yeah. Episode 7.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Haunted dolphin.
Phantom Flipper.
Yeah. Phantom flipper.
DJ Maniac. Wedge a Dolphin in My Ass by Chuck Dingle.
Yeah.
Has he written one called that? He should have. I don't know if is dolphins really. I feel like dinosaurs are more his thing, but could be. I don't know if he's done dolphin.
The worst one of all times, if you ask me, the worst one of all times, the one that it's basically when I said fuck it, and I gave up television, was when I saw that they had a program called Killing Bigfoot, and the rednecks jumping up out of the ground. They have like a
every episode is
with
exactly
a shotgun, and it was called with lights.
I heard something in the woods, Cletus.
Did you see them? Yeah, and it's just fake rednecks and fucking dressed up as hillbillies.
Yeah, just like the Duck
We gonna
Dynasty
kill
guys.
Bigfoot, and I was just like, that's it. I turned off television, never fucking turned it back on. That was it.
It should have been
I gave up
called
on television.
Killing Bigfoot with an asterisk.
Right.
And then asterisk, rednecks
Yeah.
do not actually kill Bigfoot.
And really, Killing Bigfoot was a response to the same kind of fucking ethnic games, but in another direction. Even though it was good, it was called Ghost Brothers. Ghost Brothers was good. It was black dudes on ghost hunts. It was pretty good though. It was fucking funny.
Well, they were. I liked that show because the three guys were funny, and
funny,
their interactions were funny.
Yeah,
like
making
with each
them
other.
fucking stay in the room.
They were
like
funny
dark and
guys.
shit. Yeah, making them stay.
They
in the room
weren't douchey like the
Right.
Ghost Adventures guys.
But they saw that and that was success, and they go, "Well, shit, we got to have rednecks. And we're gonna call it Killing Bigfoot." And I was like, "That's it." I turned that shit off. Okay.
I don't even know if Ghost Brothers is still on. That was a long time ago. That was a good. Like I didn't
good.
give a shit about the ghost stuff.
Nah,
just those guys were just.
dudes, yeah.
Those dudes were just entertaining.
Yeah, they were funny.
Because they were taking it seriously, but not exactly. You know what I mean? I don't know. They were just funny.
They were
Their
just
interaction was funny.
trying to like, look, man, you stay here. All right, we're gonna turn the lights off. All right, you stay in here and see how long. See if you can stay in here fucking 30 minutes. He's like, all right. You scared? No, I ain't scared. We have to put the flashlight right on you. Or have the camera right there. It'll be all right. Just 30 minutes. Okay, man. And he's like, oh man, this shit sucks.
Well, I think that's kind of what I like about the BuzzFeed Unsolved ones.
Yeah.
Like, I usually like the true crime ones. I don't think they do those anymore. But they still do the paranormal ones.
Yeah.
And actually, they did one about Tombstone, Arizona, which I'm going to be talking about later, where they went to all these different places. And that's a good show because, one, the two guys are, like, best friends, and, like, their back and forth is, like, really funny. And also because Ryan believes in ghosts, and he's, like, a total wuss about it. Like, he's really scared of them. And the other guy, Shane, just totally does not believe at all and is always, like, busting his balls about how he's like scared about it, and it's just so funny. Like their interaction is very, very funny. Sandra asked if anybody had seen the new Ghostbusters movie. I haven't seen it. It kind of looks good from the trailer.
Is it out?
Yeah, it started last week or the week before.
We can go see it. We'll go see it.
I think Oliver Harper put up a review for it, but like a non-spoiler one, but I haven't watched it because like I said, I don't usually like to watch reviews beforehand. But, I don't know. It's like I said, the trailer looked good. I don't know if it's... I said like I said again. Oops. Yeah. Now I just said it a third time.
Yeah.
You guys are going to be so drunk by the end of this. Just don't listen to me. All right, so we're talking about Cripple Creek, Colorado. Specifically, the Imperial Hotel. Now, back in 1896, there was a big-ass fire that destroyed most of the city. This kind of happened a lot out in the Old West. What are you guys like building your shit out of fucking matches and oily rags? That's what happens. And you light everything with lanterns, and everybody's drunk all the time, and they're just knocking lanterns over, and whoops, burn that whole town down again. Because I just feel like every town in the Old West burned completely to the ground at some point. It's just, I don't know. Every single one has that. So Cripple Creek, Colorado, no exception.
They were wood. They didn't have fire.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And they were drinking all the time.
That's what I just said.
Gas lamps everywhere.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
That it wasn't a good combination.
No.
Yeah. So, big barrels of gunpowder.
Yeah.
So after that fire, there was this. They built the Imperial Hotel because there were a bunch of like miners and various people coming to the area. Now, when it was first opened, it was actually called the Collins Hotel, and it was kind of fancy. Like, they had electric lights. Ooh. They had steam, like a heating system, all that stuff. So, the original owner, the manager, I guess, like the guy that ran the hotel back in the day, was a dude named George Long. He was originally from England. And he was married to his first cousin, which I guess a lot of people did back then. So him and his wife ran the hotel, and they also had 3 kids. Now, their oldest daughter, Alice, maybe because of the inbreeding, I'm not sure. First cousins, I don't know. It depends on how closely genetically related they are. But their oldest daughter was supposedly not right. Like, she was kind of mentally... had mental problems.
And they said first cousins, as long as it isn't generational. In other words, first cousins over many generations, so that you can get away with it.
Yeah, like I said, it kind of depends on, I don't know, it depends on how
close. If you have a population that continuously marries first cousins over time, that fucks you up.
Yeah.
But
once in a while, it's probably
there's no
not. I mean, I'm not saying.
Yeah. Because there's certain communities that still do it in certain parts of the world. They have fucking bad birth defects. I talked about it. We had one in the old community where that old place we left. Places in the Middle East that do it. And boy's head was swelled up. His sister, remember we saw her sister, she looked kind of fucked up. That's because it's over in Pakistan. Fucking in certain parts of them, certain tribes will, because it's tribal. They'll marry cousins over and over and over and over again. It's preferred thing to marry your cousin. Sandra, strangely enough, back in the day, it was like that in Germany, as I understand. Fucking old mustache man and his first cousin had a thing going. Gelly. Well, her name was Gelly. She shot herself and killed herself over mustache man. But evidently...
over him, or because she was sick of his shit?
Over him. No.
Oh, okay.
No, over him. People fucking don't realize before Mustache Man had a bad reputation, he was very popular. The women liked him. He wore funny clothes and made speeches and...
What a funny little mustache man you were.
Yeah, well, he's trying to copy fucking Charlie Chaplin, actually. Which that's not a joke. He was,
Yeah, I know.
And, he was a goth kid of his time, an artist and shit. Fucking...
I'm not claiming him, sorry.
He was, when you see, going to the opera, and they were all weirdos. That's the thing about fucking those guys.
They were
weirdos. Yeah, they were weirdos. They were
Sam the Eagle there, in case
they were into free love and running around nudism and fucking pansexuality. That's what that was. But sorry, but that's what they were. It just got weird as that shit went on.
Yeah, it got a little.
It got very weird. Identity politics, man, fucking leads you down bad paths. Don't do it.
Sandra says, Jenny, they built everything out of wood and drank a lot.
Yeah.
Tom, it's because everything was made of wood and they were always drunk. Well, I told you he doesn't listen to me when I talk.
No, I was listening to it.
So he always
I was
repeats.
backing her up. I've been drinking.
So he repeats everything I say like a minute later. Ilsa says, you can share up to a quarter of your DNA and still be okay.
Yeah.
That's roughly what first cousins are. Yeah, like I said, I think it's more of a thing where... If you just keep doing it.
And over and over.
And then Sandra says, legally, you can still marry your cousins here. I don't think anyone does, but you are allowed to. Honestly, I think...
half the states here you can.
Yeah, I'm not... Please correct me if I'm wrong. It's not like I've ever looked into this, but I'm pretty sure that Florida you can.
Yeah.
But I don't know anybody that has ever done that.
Last I heard, the state of Mississippi, age of consent is 14. Ain't that something? Age of consent is 14.
Yeah.
Now, they think they might have statutory clauses where you can't be but a certain amount of ages
Over
years
that, yeah.
older than
Which
her.
that makes sense.
That may be there, but that's a new law. It used to be you could marry a girl at 13 as long as the parents consent to it. And I don't think fucking age was of the husband was ever mentioned. But that's old, very old. But
Well,
it's
hell,
probably still in effect.
Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin. So
If in the South in those days, no problem.
yeah.
No problem.
And he was 26, 28?
No problem.
Maybe older.
There'd have been no
I can't
problem in the
remember.
old South. That would have been.
Although when he went over to Europe, they were kind of like, yeah, no.
They're like, what? In the old South,
That's not happening.
In the old South, that would be considered quaint. Just the cultural context is not the same.
I know. It's creepy.
They're like, yeah, you're taking care of a young and helpless person. That's good. That's good. And she's your family too. That's good. Keep, keep the clan together. That's the way they were. It's like that in Pakistan. Same thing, but they just do it over and over and over again. You can't do it over and over again.
Yeah, you're going to have a bad time.
All right.
Danny Rolling Ghostface says, I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife. It was good. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, it looked good. I said, like I said again. See, I keep doing it. I'm trying not to do it, and I guess trying not to do it is going to make me do it more. So I should just stop worrying about it.
What's up, Pookie Man?
Oh, hi, Pookie.
What's up, Pookie Man?
So yeah, we got off on the first cousin thing. So their oldest daughter, Alice, as I mentioned, had some kind of severe mental disorder. Not really sure what it was. But it got to a point where when she was, as she aged, she was starting to get so misbehaving, I guess, that they had to keep her locked in. They had an apartment next to the lobby because they, worked in the hotel and ran it. So they had to keep her locked in there, which, seems a little cruel, but, Now, today, this is where the Red Rooster Bar is. Now, a little while after this, suspiciously, or maybe not so suspiciously, George was walking down the stairs to the basement and fell and died. Now, whether it might have been an accident, it happens. People fall downstairs all the time and die. But the legend went around that Alice, the daughter, had gotten out of her room and pushed him down the stairs, or hit him in the head with a cast iron skillet, and then he went flying down the stairs. No one can prove that, allegedly, but that was the story that went around. Now, in 1948, they also opened this thing called the Gold Bar Theater, and then they had all these actors come in, and that went on for a really long time. I don't know if it's still going on because I'm pretty sure this hotel is still open nowadays. But for a time, they had the longest running theater in the nation. And they also added a casino in 1992. So they changed their name to the Imperial Casino Hotel. Now, the ghost that this supposedly has, the most common one is George Long, the guy who fell down the stairs or was pushed or hit in the head with a pan and fell down the stairs by his daughter. One thing that George Long likes to do, this is what it said on the Legends of America page. The ghost of George Long likes to flirt with the ladies. I'm not sure in ghost form what that would entail. Also, he likes to play the slot machines. More understandable. What would ghost flirting entail?
I don't know.
Now I'm curious. There's another idea for a short story: ghost flirting.
Ghost flirting.
I kind of feel like maybe flirting isn't the word. Maybe it's more like ghost sexual harassment, where they're kind of just grabbing people's asses.
Maybe that's what they're talking about.
Which is not flirting.
Pinching you on the ass. Back in those days, it would have been flirting.
Guess. It's like who just pinched my titty?
Yeah.
It's like invisible hands going honk honk.
They were more forward back then. They were more permissive with their sense of humor.
Oh my god.
Slapping bitches on the back of the ass when they walk by. Like Bond used to do and shit.
Yeah,
James Bond did that.
That wouldn't fly nowadays. Nowadays, you turn around and that woman will punch you right in the mouth.
Depends on if she likes you or not, though. If she's
if she doesn't know you, she will absolutely turn around and punch you in the mouth.
Yeah, you slap a bitch on the ass like that, and she's gonna call the cops on you now.
Yeah, I'm gonna punch your fucking teeth down. You do that kind of shit to me. Holy crap. But yeah. So apparently what happens is they'll close down the casino part of the hotel and everything's closed, nobody's in there, and they'll start hearing the slot machines and they'll start hearing coins like falling into the bottom of the slot machines. But then when they go in there to check on it, there's no coins in there and none of the machines are on.
Yeah, psych.
So they think that the ghost is in there playing. I don't know. Again, I don't know what the ghost would be doing with the money in the afterlife.
No, it's teasing you.
He's like, I gotta win some money to buy some like ghost chocolate bars. I don't know.
The ghost doesn't know it's in the afterlife.
I guess maybe not. He's like, I'm just still gonna hang around in this casino, man. This is really nice. Yeah, and so there's that whole thing going on. And then there's also a thing where a lot of guests, primarily female guests, have said that they felt somebody in their room like touching them. I don't know if that means like just touching, like touch, or if it means like, again, like sexual harassment touching. Again, this ghost seems a little handsy. Not sure I'm okay with it. And apparently one of the maids that worked there also reported having her butt pinched. So again, I think their definition of flirting and my definition of flirting are two very, very different things. Just saying. Another thing that's been reported is in the theater part of the hotel. Some of the actors that are still in there, or were at least as of this writing, like when this legend was written down, like a couple years back, they have also, like, they've been in the dressing room and feel people like touching them, like touching the back of their neck and on their back and stuff like that. And also another thing that has been reported a lot of times is that if they ever leave the door to the Red Rooster bar closed, because like I said, that was where the apartment used to be for like the Long family who used to run it back in the early 20th century. And that's where they started locking their daughter when she would, you know, have her episodes. So if you leave that door closed, then a lot of times like people say that they hear, it sounds like somebody like frantically scratching on the door like they're trying to get out. So that's another thing that's been reported a lot. So like I said, I think that this hotel is still around. I don't know how much it is to stay in it, but yeah, it has a casino and a theater and all that kind of stuff. So what'd you miss? Yeah, pinching your ass maybe. That's the first thing I thought too. And then I was kind of like...
That's probably what it is.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think you weren't in here, but I said that some people had reported having their asses pinched or feeling like they were quote-unquote touched in the middle of the night. Yeah. Which, as I said, I'm not sure what the touching entailed. Like, I don't know how happy I'd be sleeping and then all of a sudden feeling some weird-ass spectral fingers up in some places. You know what I mean? That might be a little disturbing.
Went red.
Uh-oh.
There it goes. It's back.
Okay.
It was funny. It just went boom and went out, and then it came back.
The ghost got mad.
Ghost got mad.
The ghost of George Long got mad because I was calling him like a sexual harasser. Yeah. For like touching people's badges in the middle of the night with his spectral fingers. Sorry, George. I don't know. What are you gonna do? Come on.
It's almost time for another drink.
It is. Yeah, I know. All right, so let's talk. Here's a little something different because usually ghosts are people, right? So I wanted to get here. This is something they could talk about on the Animal Planet Paranormal Show. See, I thought it was going to be this kind of stuff. This is the legend of the Hell Dogs of Eldorado Canyon.
They probably did talk about something like this, but then there's only one episode, see, and they got to fucking pack fucking season after season after season, see.
Yeah, they're getting like
shoehorns, all kinds.
They're getting like all the dregs from all the million other paranormal shows. And they're like, "Do you have a cat?" Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna put. Did the cat ever look like look in a corner? Yeah. Weirdly.
Can you say that the cat was like disturbed? Yeah. Oh, the cat was very disturbed. Yeah. Did you have a cat? No, but there were mice out in the backyard. Okay, can we say that the mice saw this?
Were they pet mice, or were they just kind of...
No, just wild mice. And, I saw it once and never saw it again. Oh, so the mice ran away. Yeah. Every mouse from miles around ran away. See?
So I didn't have any pets, but, I had a hermit crab.
Yeah.
The hermit crab seemed a little unsettled from time to time. Hard to tell, though. He kept moving from shell to shell.
Yeah.
That's an... I just thought of another really dumb short story about a hermit crab whose shell becomes haunted, so he has to move, so he has to keep moving to them.
Yeah.
He's like haunted shells, like moving to them. That could be like kind of funny. Wonder if anybody's written that one. Hey, Chuck Tingle.
Yeah, Chuck Tingle. It's
You have
haunted up in his ass.
Yeah, well, yeah. He's gonna have to. The hermit crab is gonna have to go up somebody's butt first, and then it can be haunted. But yeah, so Hell Dogs of Eldorado Canyon. So the thing about this place is that it's this really, really big area, and there's just a whole bunch of shit that happened in this one area. So there's all kind of ghost stories about it. But I picked this one just because it was a little bit different, because it wasn't people. You know what I mean? So back in the mining days, you would have all these prospectors that were going out there mining for various things. And a lot of them would keep dogs, obviously, to, help them with stuff like, keep people away from their sites or whatever. So a lot of the dogs were kind of mean because, they were trained to keep trespassers away and shit like that. Now, sadly, when, the mine was depleted or when the miners moved on, a lot of them, for whatever reason, didn't take the dogs with them. So they would either just kill them, like just shoot them or whatever, or they would leave them chained at the site. Sometimes they'd release them, but sometimes they'd chain them up and just leave them there, which
leaving them to die.
That seems
I have a hard time believing that.
That seems pretty shitty. I mean, I'm sure it happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying it probably wasn't. I would imagine most people would just probably just let them go.
Let them go, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
I don't even think putting them out of the misery of shooting them would be. This was Old West.
Yeah.
I ain't buying it.
Yeah.
No. Back in the Old West, they liked dogs.
I was kind of thinking that too.
That's where all that man's best friend stuff was. They would have let the dogs go.
Yeah, I mean, if they couldn't take the dog with them, because, I mean, having a good dog, it's pretty valuable.
You're right.
I mean, especially like I said, they're a good protection. It's companionship. It gets lonely out there.
Yeah, no, they didn't kill dogs. So I'm kind of sensing bullshit in this.
I'm just saying that's what the legend says.
If you killed a dog in the Old West, that was a killing offense. If you shot somebody's dog, he'd probably kill you for that.
Well,
documented.
Rightfully so.
Documented. If you shot somebody's dog, there was going to be a gunfight.
Because that's a pretty shitty thing to do.
It's like shooting somebody's kid.
Yeah.
So I'm not buying this that much. I'm suspicious. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't shoot dogs or just leave them changed. I'm going, no.
Yeah, that seems fucked up. Unless they were just really, really shitty people. I say, I'm just saying, I'm not saying it never happened. I'm just saying it was probably pretty rare, and the person was probably a serial killer or something.
Yeah.
Because people do it nowadays.
Individual cases, maybe.
That's what I mean.
But no, it wouldn't be something that you would be done. You know what I mean? They would let dogs go. Or sell them. People would take them.
Yeah, I mean...
Dogs are pretty valuable.
Yeah.
You wanted them around on farms and shit.
Yeah, Rebecca Dunn says, "Hi folks, running late. If someone shot my dog and it was legal, I'd shoot them also." Yeah, I don't really blame people for... I don't blame them for that at all. Because, like,
And it wouldn't matter if it was legal or not in the Old West.
Anyway. She's just saying nowadays.
Yeah.
Pets are family members.
Yeah. Things, and it will probably go back to this eventually anyway. Civilizations have legal structures, and when civilizations start to decline, the legal structures change. And then it goes down to just custom. You know what I mean? Local traditions and customs and your culture, and people enforce things based upon that. You really don't need legal systems. Most of humanity didn't have them over history. Things were just done by culture, customs, and traditions. That's far more powerful. You don't really need a legal system. And that's the way the Old West was. Although it had legal systems inside towns as it got more developed. You shot somebody's dog, they'd fucking kill you. That's the same as if you stole a horse, they'd kill you.
Well, I mean, that was really but more than shooting a dog, even killing
Yeah.
someone's horse.
Or
That
shoot-
was almost
steal-
it. That in a way that was like murder.
Or stealing a horse or shooting. Well, shooting a horse would be the same as stealing a horse.
Yeah.
Unless the horse was injured and you had to shoot it. They did that all the time.
Yeah.
But then they ate the horse. You didn't waste that. But horses were valuable. And to steal a horse was the same as attempted murder.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. They
Because-
didn't fuck around. They'd hang
No.
you.
If you stole a man's horse, what were you doing? You're leaving him to die? They killed you for that.
Yep.
And it was done summary execution in the field. It didn't take judges or cops. They're just, we know you stole that horse. We saw you. There's the horse and you're on it. Come here. And they hung you, strung you up. Feet kicking and shit. And what happened to him? You stole a horse. Oh, okay.
Well, that'll happen.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as I said,
They'd hang a sign on him,
you
horse
can
thief.
understand- yeah,
and
you
just
can
leave him
understand.
hanging there,
that's what they valued.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Yeah.
for good reason.
That's why I value your cultures and traditions. Because eventually you might have to live by them.
So there was a story, and maybe this is where the idea that people left the dogs to die chained. Because this story, I don't know if this is where the story originated, but this is one that comes up when you talk about this legend. So there's these two brothers, and they were exploring this one area in this particular canyon, and they found this old mine shaft. And next to the mine shaft, or going down into it, was this old chain that was embedded in the wall, like near the entrance of the shaft. So they go into the mine, and they find a bunch of bones that looked like the skeleton of a big dog that had been chained there. So they set up camp, and they're sitting around the campfire, and they hear, coyotes and shit, which, not weird. Now, they're eating dinner, and both of them later reported that they started feeling really weird, like unsettled. They said the atmosphere seemed to get very thick, and seemed like charged, like there was something in there, like lightning or something. And then they started hearing something that sounded like dogs panting really, really close by, even though there weren't any animals, like they couldn't see any animals. And then they started hearing a bunch of growling. Then, even though they could see all around the campsite, they had a fire and everything, and they couldn't see anything, they started hearing a bunch of, like, paws, like, circling the campsite, and a bunch of scratching noises coming from the shaft where the chain was, where the skeleton was. Now, while they both looked at where the entrance to the mine shaft, allegedly, the chain started moving by itself, looking like it was being pulled away from the wall, like something was on the end of the chain. You know what I'm saying? Like it was kind of up like that. So at this point, the guys are like, because the chain just keeps going like that, and they're just kind of like, yeah, this is getting really weird. So they both like jump up and they shine their flashlight or whatever over there, or the torch or whatever, and there's like, they saw blood stains and scratches on this rock, and then the chain drops down suddenly, like as soon as they put the light on it, and then they felt something invisible but about dog height running past their legs.
Ghost dog.
Yeah. So at this point they were like, yeah, we're out. So they got the fuck out of there. But they said while they were running, they heard as though there was like a pack of dogs or a pack of wolves running after them, but they couldn't see anything. Now, so I guess like the people that live around there, this is a pretty common legend as far as I could determine. But they do call them the hell dogs of Eldorado Canyon. So it's apparently all these dogs that died in this canyon for whatever causes that are fucking people up, I guess, because they were mean dogs. I don't know, but that's why. Thank you. So ghost dogs. That's kind of cool.
That'd make a good episode. But those all dudes are dead, though, huh?
Well, these dudes, I think this was kind of a more recent,
When was this
thing.
sighting again?
Well, the legend goes back to the Old West days, but I'm not sure when that particular story was from. But that was kind of one of the more common ones. Sandra says, I'd rather have a ghost dog in the house than a ghost person. Right? I think that'd be kind of sweet. And I have heard, about stories of people whose pets died, and then they either saw or felt their pets in the house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even people I knew, they said, oh, my dog died, and I was really sad about it, but then sometimes I'd wake up and I thought that I felt his nose on my face or something like that. So, maybe they can still haunt you. I don't know. So, this is pretty short, but I liked this one so much. I think this might be my favorite one, just because this one has the creepiest imagery, I think. This is the death ship of the Platte River, Wyoming. Because I'm always a big fan of death omen ghosts.
Death ship.
You know what I mean? Like when you see a ghost or a whatever, and it's like a portent of death.
Yeah.
I really like that trope in ghost stories. I don't know why, but I just like that a lot. So there's this, the Platte River in Wyoming. There's a legend that there's a ship that sails down this river, and what'll happen from the people that have seen it, apparently, is that there'll be this really creepy mist that comes out of the water, and then it turns into this big ball of fog that's kind of like rolling around, and then the ship will kind of like come out of it, all ghostly. Now, this was my favorite part. The ship, all the ship and the mast and the sails and everything like that are all covered with frost. I just really like that image. And then there's a crew on the ship who are also all covered with frost. Imagine how creepy that would be if you fucking saw that. Yeah. Like just the ship coming out of the fog and it's all like icy and shit. Yeah. I love it. So it's like, this was the most evocative for me because I'm like, oh my God, I love this imagery so much.
Write that into a story. Huh?
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, see this, this is the kind of stuff that like, I just love it. So yeah, so they're all covered with frost. No, wait, it gets better. So the crew's like all icy and they're standing there on the deck and they're all standing there huddled around a corpse that's lying at their feet, like with canvas over them. They're like on a piece of canvas. Now, what happens is, if you see this ship, what happens is that the crew will part and they will pull the canvas aside on the corpse, and it will be someone that you know. And that person will die the same day that you saw that ship. Now, this was actually first reported, the first report that I could find of it was from 1862. And this was a guy named Leon Weber, who was a trapper. And he was on the Platte River one particular day, and he said that he saw the ship, the frost, the fog, everything. The crew steps back, pulls the canvas aside, and he sees that the face on the corpse is his fiancée. And she indeed died the same day that he saw that ship. There was another sighting in 1887 by a dude named Gene Wilson, who was a cattleman. And again, he saw the ship, and the canvas got pulled aside, and it was his wife's face. And she also died later that day. Somebody also reported seeing it in 1903. And he saw like his best friend. He was out there like chopping a tree or something, and he saw his best friend. And again, the person died the same day that he saw it. They said this ship almost always appears, or it's almost always reported in late fall. And apparently, allegedly, supposedly, every time somebody sees this death ship, whoever you see on the deck is gonna die the same day. It's not you. It always seems like it's somebody else, like a loved one. I've never heard of what anybody seeing it's like, oh, it was my own face, because that'd be super freaky. But it's always somebody else, so like their wife or their girlfriend or their friend or something. And then that person dies like later in the day. But it's just, I had to mention that even though it's short, because I was just kind of like, I just love that imagery of the frosty people in the frosty boat out of the fog, and then being like, look, it's a dead person. And not, you know what I mean? That would be so fucking freaky. I love that kind of shit. Sandra's saying about... What red?
What red? Okay, it's coming back.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to... Yeah, then it goes person. Rebecca Dunn says, I have my cats walking around my pillow while I'm selling for sleep. And they've been dead 20 years. Yeah. Oh, that's so sad. Sandra says, I've waited for my cats to show up after they died, but sadly they never did. Oh, yeah. That's a bummer. Yeah, Sandra mentioned the Flying Dutchman. We'll have to do a show about that one of these days. I don't think we did the Flying Dutchman, did we? I remember we did a show. We did a show about ghost ships, but I don't think we talked about... Did we talk about the Flying Dutchman on there? That was so long ago. Jeez. But yeah, that would actually be like a cool show to do. But yeah, I love ghost ship kind of stuff. Like I said, I love Death Omens. I don't know why. Because I think there's another one that was in the Old West one that I didn't put in my notes, but there was one, I think it's like a more of a Native American legend, where it's actually kind of like a phantom bird. It's like a crow or something, but it's like a special crow. So if you see it, it's usually like kind of a warning, but I think sometimes it's good too. Like sometimes like it's a good fortune, but I'm not really sure. I just kind of read it real quick, but because like I said, I really like the Death Omen stuff. All right, so let's talk about... Oh, Mike says, my grandmother used to say, when an old owl cries, someone close to you is going to pass. That's a pretty common legend because I've heard that before too. And I've even read it in different stories and stuff. I think that's a pretty common death portent, that if you hear an owl hooting like outside your window, that means someone in your house is going to die.
Shit, we were hearing it all the time, man. Fucking over the...
That's why I say, yeah, we would have died like a million times over because I used to hear owls all the time.
Oh, people, I just told Sophie that, hey, so where are you on the show? People are on the show asking you about you. She goes, I'm out shopping with my mom for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So that's where she's at.
It's Thanksgiving
So
tomorrow, in case you guys didn't forget. Rebecca Dunn says, oh my God, all the ships sunk from Florida to North Carolina Outer Banks. What a ghost tour. That would be cool. I mean, because shit, man. Yeah, there's so many shipwrecks around this coast and on the west coast of Florida, too. All the fucking pirate ships and everything like that. There's still all kind of shit out there. Treasure. When I was in St. Augustine... I think I mentioned this before, but I went to the Pirate and Treasure Museum, and they have all kind of shit that they just dug out from wrecks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool shit. The owls.
Does Tom know that there's a free fly event going on for Star Citizen? I don't know what that is, bro.
I don't know what that is either.
Yeah.
Sheila Ann says, creepy. There is a ghost story out of Long Island based on a ship's frozen tragedy. Photos are scary. Yeah, I don't know what it is that's so fascinating to me about ghost ships. I think it's the same thing that's creepy about dead malls and stuff. Because, it's just, it's this thing and it's empty. Normally, and just the thought of it out there in the middle of the ocean being empty is really, really creepy. I was watching something on Nexpo earlier today, and he was kind of getting into the it's not Uncanny Valley because that's something different, but it's kind of how liminal spaces, quote unquote, make people uneasy, where it's a place that looks like it should have a shit ton of people in it, like a city or whatever, but there's nobody in it.
Yeah. And
how most people find that really unsettling for, just because your expectation is that there's supposed to be people there. But yeah, he was talking about that a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit of that. But I think the ghost ship phenomenon has the added thing of being out in the middle of the fucking ocean.
Yeah.
Where there's nothing.
Well, like I said before on some of the shows, there is a fucking town, a mining town with street lights, parking lots, whole apartment buildings, downtown, everything. There's even cars there, under the ground, abandoned. From the 50s and 60s. That's some spooky shit. Right now, there's a town underground. Totally empty. Imagine if somebody abducted you and knocked you out and put you in
And
that
you
town.
woke up in there?
And you woke up in there.
Ooh, that's another good
With
story.
no
You
light.
give me all kind of good short story ideas tonight.
You'd think that you were blind. You'd be finding shit. And you'd be like in a bed and you'd wake up, where the fuck am I? If you were to somehow get a light source, you'd then find out you were in an underground 1950s looking ass fucking town. Totally abandoned.
Somebody should make a video game of that.
With cars and fucking street lights and
If
a
they haven't
downtown and everything, and it's all just fucking closed up. Nobody in it.
Come on, you can do it.
Yeah.
Okay, there it goes.
Yeah, and you wake up and it's fucking just like all closed up. There's nobody in it, and it's a 1950s fucking town. You're like, how
Yeah,
the
you
fuck
think
did I
like you
get-
went back in time, or it was
Yeah.
a nuclear war. I don't know what I
Yeah.
would think.
And then you find out that the town is not on the surface. It's underneath the ground in a huge open space that was mined out
God.
by a damn mine.
Yeah, you'd shit a brick if you.
And then there's roads that lead out to fucking deeper into the mine. Yeah, and then an elevator that goes up a shaft, fucking forever, and then there's the surface. Fucking true. And it's there right now. That mine is owned by some company that shut it down years ago. It's still there.
Have you looked it up recently?
I've been trying to find it.
Because we've been trying to find it. Because you said you saw a documentary about it a long time ago.
Yeah, it was either on History Channel or one of the fucking Discovery Channel. And I haven't been able to find it since. I think it's underneath the ocean off the coast of Louisiana. I think the mine went down
Oh damn.
and went underneath the Gulf of Mexico, and it's underneath there. And it was, I think, a bauxite mine, if I remember correctly. If bauxite is what you need to make aluminum, I think it had something to do with making aluminum.
Ooh, I took chemistry there.
It went broke because it just wasn't really made right, and there's different ways to mine it, so they just closed it down, but it's still there. And they had a camera crew in there showing it. It was fucking spooky as shit. It was like pristine. In total darkness.
Yeah, that's spooky.
The apartments had fucking shit. Coat hangers in the damn closet. Some of them, there were some clothes in there. There were calendars up. People had all their dishware, just like they were coming back. You know, because nobody told them that it was going to be abandoned forever.
Yeah.
They just washed up, closed everything down, and left. Nobody ever came back. It's still there.
See, I think that's what weirds me out about some of those Urbex videos.
Yeah.
Where it looks like the people just left in the middle of life.
Yeah.
Because you would think, like, if they just packed up and left, then there wouldn't be anything in there. But sometimes it's just, oh no, there's still toys in the
little
nursery.
kids' toys
There's still clothes in the closet. I'm
food
like,
in the
what the
closet.
fuck happened to these people?
Well, what happens is a lot of times it's mansions. They go bankrupt. They lose their job.
Yeah, but they would take all their shit. That's
No.
what I'm saying.
No, they wouldn't. They don't have enough money to move everything. The kids have all moved away, and whoever's left, there's a divorce happened. It fell under the
They're
control
just
of one
like,
person.
Just fuck it. We're
And he's
just
like,
leaving all
fuck
this
it. He
stuff
packed
there.
a couple of bags and walked out of there. Yeah. Moved to other lodgings. He couldn't move all that furniture. Couldn't even afford to move it. And then the place they're moving to, you couldn't fit all that stuff. And here's another thing about the McMansion industry, because I love this shit.
What?
What's up, Pookie? Go around.
She's like, no, you
She
have to
doesn't
open the
realize that she
door.
can go around. Okay.
She's like, it's
Come on
not
in.
the
Where
same.
you? Okay. Okay, she's coming around.
No, she's right there. She's talking to her.
Oh, you're talking to there? Okay.
She's talking to
Talking to the mirror.
She's talking to the other Pookie.
talking to the Pookie in the mirror. Okay.
She's been doing that a lot the last couple days. I don't know if she thinks that's another Pookie or if she knows that's her and she's just going, hey, me.
You would think that you could build a mansion and then try to sell it and move away and make money on that mansion. You'll be gravely disappointed. That mansion will sit there and no one will ever buy it. And it's because a person who can afford a mansion can afford to build a brand new mansion to their own specification.
Yeah, why would you want to build somebody else's
No,
janky ass mansion?
Right.
I don't want
So,
your movie theater. I
yeah.
want my own movie theater.
So there's a huge glut of fucking McMansions where the person only lived in them for 10 years. And they're kind of made like they're picked out of a damn catalog. They're just sitting there. And nobody wants them. Because they're $3 million or $1.5 million. Well, for $3 million, you can build a fucking another one, brand new.
Yeah, you can build
That's
some
why.
kick-ass shit for $3 million.
That's why. What are you doing? Stop. No. You crazy?
Yeah,
Leave Spock alone.
She likes Spock.
Yeah. So, yeah. You would think a mansion was worth something. They're not. It's weird. It's weird how money works. So,
I wouldn't know.
yeah, we wouldn't know. Well, I can understand it. Now, so here's the weird thing. Some of these urbex people, you go see it yourself. I'm not making this up. Just go look at fucking abandoned mansions or urban exploration. What are you doing, Pookie? I'm trying to talk to these people. See, she doesn't care.
No, she doesn't. She's like, I'm a cat. I don't
Yeah,
give a
she
shit.
doesn't care. You would think that you could... Fuck, where was I? Pookie, you're making me lose my fucking place. So, they build these fucking mansions and you can't sell them. You would think they'd be worth something, but they're not.
No.
You can build another one. Turn red.
Come on.
There it goes. It's
Work
green.
your way back.
What the
Work
fuck
your
is
way back.
happening?
I don't know.
So you think you could build a mansion and you could make money on it and sell it? No. $3 million mansion. That's what it's worth. For $3 million, you can build another one just like it.
I mean,
It's
I feel
ridiculous.
like even if you had $3 million, the smartest thing to do would be build something like this
Yeah.
that at least has resale value
Resale
because
value.
it's not
A poor
it's
person can buy it.
Yeah, like it's not expensive. It's
Right.
expensive, but it's not so expensive that it's out of most people's
Yeah,
reach.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's the
how many
secret.
people can afford to buy a fucking $3 million house?
Not very many.
Hardly anybody.
You can't get approved for it. See?
Yeah.
So, that's the problem with the mansion game. So here's another thing that's fucking weird about the fucking rich people mansion game. They buy a mansion. They go, on this property, I'm going to build a $3.5 million mansion. They got whole companies. They'll show them a whole catalog, and they'll pick everything out by catalog. And some of these people have terrible taste. The way the thing's laid out, it's all fucking wrong. They even furnish them. It even comes with furniture. But it's kind of like cheap furniture. It looks good, but if you were to actually look close at it, the quality's not that good. And it's because they don't plan to live there that long. And they have many of these things. It's not like they have one mansion. They might have 4 or 5 of them. And to the person that's building these things, it's not really a home. It's more like a personal hotel. They're moving from one to the next. They don't really care what happens to the thing. And they sell it and abandon it. They don't care about that furniture that's in there. It's not really theirs. It kind of came with the house when they ordered it.
Well,
in a
when you
weird
have
way.
that amount of money,
Yeah.
nothing really has much
Yeah.
value to you.
And it's cheap.
Because you don't need it. You could just buy another one.
It's that cheap kind of disposable shit like you'd get from fucking off of eBay. You know what I mean? The couch looks good, but you pick it up, it doesn't weigh anything. Well, they don't care. They need a lot of them. Nobody sits in them. More like a decoration. Big glass windows. And what's weird is if you find these things, sometimes they've been abandoned for 8, 9, 10 years. And the power's still on. Weird. You can go in there and turn the power on. You could live in it if you wanted to.
Oh, believe me, I've thought of it.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we see some of the shit on the Urbex. I was like, I could
You
live
could
in
just go there
there.
and live in that. Yeah.
I don't care where it is.
Yeah.
Free rent.
Yeah. Somebody shows up. He says, "I'm here for. I work for the bank."
I'm the caretaker.
Yeah, I'm the caretaker.
You've always been the caretaker.
Yeah,
That's what I would say. But yeah, I'm Grady. So So what was I talking about? Okay. Rebecca says I'd like $3 USD right now. Yeah. Same. Yeah, Rebecca says my father-in-law, his McMansion was huge, but the layout was bizarre. It looked like a panic room between one of the living room to the kitchen. It was a walk-in pantry. It made no sense.
yeah.
In Melbourne, Florida. Hey, that's not that far
Melbourne,
from
Florida.
us.
Yeah, Florida's filled with McMansions.
Yeah.
There's a lot of empty ones. But something half that size, which would be kind of like this house. This house is maybe half the size, or maybe 1/3 the size of a McMansion. That will sell. But as soon as you start getting into the fucking $1 million plus realm, you just can't get a loan on it unless you're fucking rich, you know. But Jenny and I, we're not rich. We can get this, and it's under $500,000. What is it? $475.
Something like that.
Yeah, you can get that, and the monthly payment isn't that much.
Well, the monthly payment is the same as we were
Same as the
paying
rent.
in rent at the other place,
Right, so
which was a lot smaller than
So it
this
doesn't
one.
really make a difference.
So, you know. So it doesn't make sense, like,
Doesn't make
to pay.
sense to rent.
And honestly, in Orlando, there is not a decent apartment to be had
Yeah.
for under $1,200-$1,400.
No.
Really. Depending on where it is. But I mean, if you want to live somewhere, some of the places around like where UCF are
Yeah.
okay, and they're not quite that expensive. But honestly, I don't really see anything that's not a shithole
No.
for under $1,200 a month.
And they got
And even that's pushing it.
They got some real nice apartments in downtown Orlando. They're expensive though.
Yeah, they are very
They're
expensive.
very expensive.
Yep.
And they're not worth it. For that amount, you could get a mansion out here.
Yeah, like I said, if you're going to pay that much rent,
Get something for it. Right.
Might
There's
as
not
well.
a big difference between living downtown and here.
it's not far.
It's not far. All right. And I live downtown Orlando. Yeah, big fucking deal.
Well, I mean, the only reason I would like that was just because everything was closer and you wouldn't have to drive as far. Like,
But,
I would like to be able, because like I was saying on the last show, I like to be within walking distance of things.
Yeah, but if you're that rich, you don't need to be walking distance from things. It doesn't matter to you. Okay? Because you can have shit brought to you and delivered to you.
Yeah, but sometimes I want to go places. I don't just want to sit around in one place and have things brought to me all
There's
the time.
nothing all that exciting in downtown Orlando.
Nope.
Yep. Fuck is wrong with this?
Come on.
Ain't that something? Red. Oh, there you go. It's coming back. There's just nothing that exciting in downtown
Well, there's nothing
Orlando.
all that exciting in people's houses either.
No.
Yeah, when you think about it. So it's like sometimes it's nice to have a change of pace. I usually don't.
I just wouldn't pay that to live downtown Orlando.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying that's a reason why people would, and I totally understand that because, and
They
especially if you work down there and you had to, like, it would be a lot less of a pain in the ass.
Well,
if
that's
you
what I
didn't
was
have to
saying.
commute.
The people that were doing that were living in those office buildings, but now that doesn't matter because they're all working from home on their laptops. Office buildings are a thing of the past. Technologically obsolete. Those companies are going to say, we don't need to spend this kind of money on these office buildings. Fuck this. And those office buildings were all for rent. So that's just going to be rental properties. And who knows if those skyscrapers down there are paid off. I bet you they're not. I bet you they're not.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Imagine they
probably
probably
not.
aren't.
What's funny is that the reason why office buildings exist, the reason why cities exist nowadays is because of those office buildings. And now that those office buildings are obsolete, the city is soon to follow. The reasons why cities originally existed because you needed fucking factories close together to make products. All that's gone. Technology is evolving and away from cities. Everything being done locally in a high-tech suburbia. That's what it'll be.
Sandra says sound is still there, just the picture was lagging.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because we're not sure, so every
We'll just
time
stop talking.
my OBS
Yeah.
thing goes red, I usually just stop talking.
Yeah.
Just in case
Just
it
in case.
hiccups.
Right.
But yeah, Danny Rolling Ghostface says this connection is being spiritually. Oh, there it goes again.
They can probably hear us.
This connection is being spiritually diddled by the Wild West.
It is.
Yeah, I kind of feel like all the ghosts are mad that we're talking about them. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yep.
Because we don't usually have this much trouble. At least Tom can't say that it's because we're talking about something controversial.
Yeah, it is controversial. They don't want me to talk about real estate values downtown, man. These fucking oligarchs. are
Yeah,
coming
but
after
we
me.
were only talking about that in the last few minutes. Like, it's been
They got
going
it.
off and on, like when we were talking about
They
ghosts
got an
and
AI
shit.
program.
I
on.
think the ghosts are mad.
They got an AI program that's listening to me.
Ilsa says, I still got to physically go to work. I'm a nurse.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Some people do.
That's what I mean. A lot of people still do.
Yeah.
People that work in restaurants, people
Yeah.
that work in hospitals, people, you know, there's still a lot of people. Only a certain subset of office workers can realistically work at home. A lot of shit you got to show up for still.
Technology dictates reality. And it's changing. It's not going to look like a lot of rich people are going to be fucking butthurt. I'm survived at AMC. I'm fucking surprised that AMC survived. You know, AMC theaters.
Yeah.
I'm fucking surprised it survived. It almost went under. My understanding, people saved it. Stock market saved it. People started fucking buying stock in it.
Yeah,
Propped up its value.
Well, and they started streaming movies as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you could stream and buy movies from
It's
them
nice
too.
to have a physical fucking high-end theater to go to. It is fun to go to the theater.
See, I said that before and you argued with me. I like going to the movies.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good little ritual. I don't know if young people will be into it. It seems like the young... I don't know.
Yeah, because I
if
see
the
people
numbers
of
are
all
there.
ages in there.
We'll see.
And honestly, you know, movies that have come out in the last few years, especially the Marvel ones and shit like that, have made more money than any movies ever. So obviously, people are still going to see them.
Not the last one. The last one.
Well, no, not the last one, but I'm just saying that in general, like in the last few years, the ones that have come out. So there
Yeah.
have been like a lot of really, you know, $3 billion movies like lately in the last few years. Not since the pandemic, but I'm just saying.
See, you know, you can scare these people into change quickly. De-pattern these motherfuckers, if you know what I'm talking about. It's called de-patterning. De-pattern a motherfucker. That's, you know what I'm talking about? All that fucking, what do they call it? That CIA stuff from fucking MK Ultra. They were giving drugs to people to de-pattern them and make a new pattern. They're talking about to brainwashing.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking
It's inherent in the phrase.
Yeah, I didn't
People,
know that.
People know what it means.
De-pattern.
Yeah, Rebecca said, I remember last year you predicted AMC would fold during the middle of the pandemic. It didn't, though. It's still going.
It didn't, and it was those motherfucking guys off of Reddit started to meme it back in existence. That and what was the other one? GameStop. The GameStop rebellion. They said, no, you're not taking our AMC away, and they just started buying stock in it, which popped it back up, which I commend them for that. It would have gone under, though.
That other chain went under, I think.
GameStop eventually went under?
No. The other theater chain.
Yeah, the other one did. The silver one. What's it called?
Shit, man. What was the other main one I can't think of?
It was the second one. Number 2 went under.
Yeah, I think that went under.
And what was funny is that was just regular people at home trading on the market through tablets and fucking cell phones. Just started betting against a big old hedge fund who wanted to fucking consume AMC, and they saved it. Which I think that's great. Because I didn't really want AMC to go away. It's a good theater.
Well, and I really that AMC Stubbs A-list is a really good deal.
$20 a month, you can see 4 movies.
3 movies a week.
3 movies a week.
So 12 movies a month, in theory.
Yeah.
For the price of less than 2 movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because movies aren't cheap, like, to go to the movies.
So you're basically paying for a subscription to, like, Netflix, but you're actually able to go out and do shit.
Yeah, and it's nice for us, especially, like, you know, when we don't have a lot of money.
Right.
I was kind of like, oh, well, there's movies playing and we already paid for that, so we might as well, we just got to pay for the gas.
The only thing I don't like about AMC is that they want too much for that goddamn popcorn in those sodas. They need to come down on that. They'd probably make more money if they came down on it.
But honestly, even with the A-list, you get every so often you get $5 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I had a $5 reward from a long time ago, so I just bought a soda with that. So the soda was like $1.
They need to cut those concession prices in about half.
They're not going to, because that's where they make all their money.
That's where they make all their money.
That's where they make all their money.
Go to the restaurant.
They have their profit margin on the movies they show is very, very, very low. They only get a tiny, tiny percentage of ticket sales. So they got to make money somewhere. So honestly, if you want to keep theaters open, I hate to say, because I know it's really expensive, and we do it too, because we buy candy at CVS before we go to the movies and like sneak it in, just like everybody else does. But sometimes I buy a soda. Sometimes. If it's a long movie, I will buy a soda because I know, or some tea or something, because I know that I'm going to because I'll get really, really thirsty. So I'll buy a soda in that situation. But it is better for the health of the theater to buy concessions, even though they are dramatically overpriced. But they're overpriced because that's where they make all their money. Just saying. It's just kind of like fast food places. They make almost all their money on sodas and shit, because that costs nothing to make, and then it's like a huge markup. You know. All right, so let me get back to... Andrew says, I would love to go to AMC. The one near me only has a few movies, and all the showings are later at night. That's kind of a bummer. Yeah, we have one that is... Actually, we go to the same one, now that we moved, that we went to from the old house. So it's probably, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes away now? Something like that. But it's a big one, because it's like at the Altamont Mall. I think it's... How many theaters? Is it 12? Or no, it's 18. I think it's 18. So it's pretty big. And they usually start, on the weekends, their showings start really early. They usually start at 10 or 11 in the morning, depending on what, not so much in the day, in the weekdays, but I think on the weekends they start early. Or it depends on what the movie is. But yeah, sometimes I like to go see a movie, just get out of the house, you know?
Yeah.
And not to like pay, because we already paid. We're paying monthly, so you might as well. That's
So
what
how
I'm
many
saying.
more cases we got?
A lot.
We got a lot. Well, let's bring them on. It's almost 7 o'clock.
Oh, let's bring it on. The person that's been talking about lots of other things.
Hey. I'm making a show.
You're making a show. All right, so this next one, let's talk about the Salt Witch of the Nebraska Plains. So apparently, I don't know if it's there anymore, but there was this, right where the Saline River goes into the Platte River, which is where the death ship was that we were talking about earlier, there used to be this pillar of salt. Was it Lot's wife? No. It was just a pillar of salt. Although that would be funny if they'd called it Lot's wife.
They're saying sneak food in, you lose it. Yeah, sneak shit in. Sneaking in juji fruits, big old bags of gummy bears, fucking.
Well, you go to CVS or Walgreens, they have all the deals.
Oh yeah,
they're like $3 for $1
$1 and Walgreens
of the boxes of movie theater candy, because they know that everybody does that.
But I'm saying
I'm gonna go get some fucking snow caps and shit like that.
I was saying that AMC is missing out because they could sell it for a little bit more, and if they sold it for a little bit more, or nearly the same price,
a little bit less, you mean?
No, if they sold it for a little bit more than Walgreens did, I would say fuck Walgreens. I'll pay the extra more at fucking AMC, and they would make the money. I think because a lot of people are doing that, or a lot of people just aren't buying anything. I'd bring those prices down. They'd probably end up netting more.
They might.
I think they would,
because there is this whole black market it's not black market.
Yeah,
this whole underground of this is okay. I know we're off.
Opening the boxes and stuffing paper in there so it doesn't rattle. So when I'm walking,
he's got a whole system.
I got a whole fucking
because
system.
He has the pants. Do you have the pants on now?
I got one of the pants. Yeah.
Okay, some of these pants have like a bunch of
cargo
pockets in them. So he goes to CVS and I'll buy like one box. Like I'll buy a box of M&Ms or some pickle cashews or something. Because my purse isn't big, so I usually just kind of have one thing and I stick it in my purse, like some M&Ms or some shit. So I put that in there. He will go to CVS and buy 3 boxes, usually Juji Fruits or Mike and Ike's or something like that. Some of that gross shit that he likes.
Yeah, fruity shit. Mike and Ike's and all the different kinds of Mike and Ike's.
And he'll take that. And then in the car, when we get to the theater, we park at the movie theater. And then he has to maneuver. He's like, okay, well, I'm going to put this in the pocket here. And then he stuffs napkins in the rest of the pocket so they don't rattle.
You got to open the box and
because
stuff napkins in the box.
He thinks he's going to get busted.
Doesn't rattle because you're walking.
Because when he's walking, he's going to go like Andy Rattle.
Man, you can tell that's good and plenty. That's the good and plenty sound.
That's the good and plenty rattling sound. Oh my god.
You got to tighten them up. There's too much empty space in there.
Yeah.
I've taken everything, the little old-fashioned fucking black licorice fucking candies with the stripes and shit, and bags, and just the little cinnamon bears. I'll take anything in there. But you see, that's money that fucking AMC's missing out on. See?
I will buy soda or candy in there if I have a $5 off thing. Because I'll get $5 off every now and then, so I'll buy a soda or a bag of chocolate-covered almonds or something like that.
If that was a straight-up candy shop in there, they'd be making all kinds of money.
Yeah, maybe they ought to do that.
Yeah.
Because, it's like nobody wants to pay $5 for a box of M&Ms that you could get for $1 at Walgreens or CVS.
People aren't that stupid. Well, some people are that stupid. I've seen them in big lines, and then they come back with the little tacos and the fucking nachos and shit.
Well, I think that was why
$40 worth of fucking food.
Well, I think that's why I expanded, because that's one kind of smart thing that AMC did, was that they actually did start introducing actual real food.
Yeah.
Like nachos. So now they have like artisanal pizzas and all kind of, they have hot dogs and shit like that. And they also have a bar. They have a bar.
Yeah, somebody's asking to have alcohol. Yeah, they got alcohol.
They have a bar.
And each, like...
It's called MacGuffins.
And then, like, each big headlining movie will have a drink.
Yeah, they have, like, a signature drink that has to do with that
with the color,
movie.
and they'll call it, like,
Yeah.
the fucking Slimer, Ghostbuster Slimer, whatever.
Yeah.
They're good drinks. The problem is that they're very weak, and they're expensive.
Well, they don't want a bunch of drunkies, like,
couldn't
watching
get
them.
drunk there. But
No.
I would, if this was a Tom Ross style organization, no, you'd be getting drunk up in there. I'd be pouring you doubles and triples and fucking, and
That would
Get 'em low.
that would go badly, I think, because
Get 'em
then halfway during the movie, you'd start going, "It's a bad! What's going on?" And I'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna hit you so hard right now." It would be like that.
a couple of the AMC's have restaurants in them where they'll come in there and bring you food, and you're at a table.
Well, our
Yeah.
indie theater in
Yeah.
Orlando, the Enzian, has that, where it's like a cafe. They only show 1 or 2 movies at a time, and it's
Yeah.
usually like art flicks or documentaries, or they do like retrospectives of.
Yeah.
I think I saw the Nick Cave documentary there a few years back, but so they do that kind of stuff. But they have a whole kind of restaurant and a bar.
Yeah.
But yeah, AMC, they actually have real food there, and like pizza, nachos,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, and they have a bar, so you can get. We have gotten drinks there before.
Yeah.
Ilsa says she not only takes snacks, she also takes a flask of booze.
Yeah, Rebecca's saying take Ziploc bags. They don't wrap them. That's a good idea. Yeah, Ziploc bag. Go down in there with some Ziplocs and empty all those things out in a Ziploc.
Into
tighten
one
them up,
Ziploc.
put them in my pocket. Yeah. Rebecca's fucking keying me onto some cool shit there. Yeah, that's how I do it.
I mean, he will sit there and legitimately eat 4 or 5 boxes of
Candy.
gummy candy.
Yeah.
How? I don't understand how you do
It's
that.
fun. I'm just sitting there going,
I know, I can hear you.
fuck it, I'm lifting anyway. I don't care. Fucking, yeah. Eating
Serious-
old man candy.
Well, yeah, he always gets old man candy.
get old man candy,
Well,
too.
like I said, I have a small purse. I don't have a big, massive purse. I have a purse that's about that big. You can fit about 1 box of candy in there and maybe 1 little bag.
Yeah.
So I'll usually just get 1 box of it because honestly, after I have 1 box of those, I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't really want any more.
Jenny's fucking with me about eating old man candy. I like old fashioned candy.
Well, I like some old man candy. I like
Yeah, yeah.
Werther's Original, for example.
Yeah, old man candy.
Those are
black
delicious.
licorice.
See, I don't
type
like that,
stuff,
though.
You know what I mean? Fucking. the
You can
black-
like it, you're
the black
allowed. I just
licorice
don't
looking
like it.
stacks that are pink black licorice, pink, yellow, and green black licorice things, and fucking Bitter honeys and fucking what a.
Oh, Bitter
saltwater-
honeys are good.
Saltwater taffy.
I like Bit Honey.
Old man candy.
Gramther's Hammer said, it's a bunch of 17-year-old potheads working at my local movie theater. I'm not too worried about them busting me for sneaking in some snow caps. That's kind of what I feel like, too. I think kids working there wouldn't give a
They
shit.
don't give a shit.
But I feel like also...
I'm trying to be respectful.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably better not to draw attention to
Yeah,
yourself
yeah.
or not to flaunt the fact that you're... I mean,
I'm cheating.
that you would
Yeah.
come in like with a trench coat, like with candy, like
Yeah.
all in there and stuff like that, giving bitches.
Be a
like,
real asshole.
I'm getting away with some shit.
Be a real asshole, show up with all that candy and sell it to everybody that's sitting there.
He's I'm a candy scalper.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just seems a little... We're not really sneaking because they're... I mean, even if they kick us out, I don't really care, but it's just kind
They
of
won't
like...
kick you out.
No, they wouldn't kick you out. Anyway, they might
They wouldn't even
just
say
think-
anything to you.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
It just seems a little... Like you said, it seems a little disrespectful.
Yeah.
That's all. So I'm just kind of like, well, I'll just keep it in my purse. And...
Rebecca's asked, "What is old man candy?" Explain old man candy to her.
Well, old man candy would be like, well, shit old people like, you know. Shit that nobody would eat, and it was shit that, okay, like if you got it in your trick or treat bag, you'd be like, fuck
No,
this.
no, that's not old man candy. Old man candy is the
Root beer
candy, traditional American candy that your grandparents would have eaten, or like your dad would have eaten. Those things that are fucking squares, they're blocks, and they're fucking stripes, colored stripes, was the oldest man candy I've ever had.
Like all sorts.
Yeah,
They call it licorice all sorts.
It's got black licorice in it with stripes of other shit, pink stuff, and
Yeah, all sorts. That's what
all
it's called.
sorts. That's what it's called. That kind of shit. That's an old man candy. What What else is an old man candy?
Root beer barrels.
Root beer barrels.
Although those are good.
Those are good.
I'll go to bat for those. I like root beer candy.
Yeah.
Clove gum.
Yeah. Saltwater taffy is old man candy.
Some saltwater taffy is good. I'm not a fan usually, but some of the flavors are all right. Jelly beans, maybe jelly beans.
That chewy peanut butter fucking shit.
Although those are kind of good too.
Yeah, old man candy.
Yeah, like you said, bit of honey.
Yeah, bit of honey's old man candy. Yeah.
Werther's.
Yeah.
Although those are delicious.
Clark bar.
Clark bar.
Clark bar.
Does that have marshmallow in it?
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, fuck marshmallow. I don't. They still make those, I think, but I haven't seen one for a really long time. A Uno bar and a Zero bar. Those are old man candies. Okay, well, I'm gonna go to bat for Zero
They're good
bars.
though. They're real good.
Because
old
they
man
don't-
candy is good.
I like Zero bars. That's white chocolate. They don't make enough white chocolate shit. Although, I will say that in the past few years, a lot of regular candy bars have been upping their white chocolate game, and I see you. I appreciate it. I love white chocolate.
Boxed chocolate is old man candy. That's old man candy. Especially,
like Whitman samplers.
Yeah, like the samplers.
I used to get one for my grandma every holiday.
The jellies are fucking. That's super old man candy.
Yeah, fuck that. I wouldn't even eat those.
I liked them.
Well, what I would get.
I liked them.
My grandma loved Whitman samplers.
Yeah.
Okay, I know it's a cliche, but she did. So every holiday, she'd be like, "Give me a Whitman sampler." I'd be like, "Okay." So I'd get her one, and yeah, they like all the fruit creams and stuff like that. I'm
I
like,
liked them.
gross.
I liked them.
Give me the good shit. Give me the stuff with the nuts or the
nuts and
caramel,
nougats
or
and caramel.
or coconut was good too.
That's good. I liked them all.
But the ones with fruit creams and gel in there, fuck that shit.
I
That's
did
gross.
not differentiate. All right. Necco wafers are a fucking old man candy.
Oh, that's like maybe the ultimate old man
ultimate
candy.
old man candy. Necco wafers are one of the oldest candies in America.
That's barely food.
That's 1800s.
That's barely food.
Yeah, 18 Necco wafers.
I would maybe argue that that's not even food.
I used to love them as a kid. I could still eat them. Those little discs, waxy discs.
I mean, you might as well go back to 1978, go up to the chalkboard in your third grade classroom and just eat the chalk.
You guys check me on this. You guys got Google. Go ahead and check it.
Hi, sweet baby.
If memory serves, Necco wafers are 1800s.
They might be.
That's not even set.
I remember seeing something
like
about how they
1800s.
were made. And
They're ancient. Yeah.
they basically just tasted like dust and
They were good.
sadness.
Dust and sadness.
They don't really taste like anything.
Dust and sadness. That's good.
And they're
I
all
like
different colors, as if they're trying to fool you. Oh, they're different flavors.
They
No,
had
they're
a
not.
mild
No, they're
flavor. They had a mild flavor.
Mild flavor, my ass. They don't taste like anything.
They were kind of like antacids. They kind of tasted like eating Tums. But they had a mild flavor to them. Fuck you, Jenny. Fuck you, Jenny. I fucking liked them. I liked Necco wafers. They were ultimate. And here's the thing. There's a company out there that bought all those brands and still make them.
Yeah, Andrea just said I found a store that has all kinds of old candy you can't find in regular stores. Yeah, you can get all that shit online.
You can still get it.
They're still making it. So obviously there's a big enough audience for it.
It's a retro candy, and I'm pretty sure that Necco wafers is 1890s.
Didn't we see? I thought I saw. I don't think it was Dan Bell, but I think it was somebody like an Urbex type guy. Maybe it was Ace's Adventures or somebody like that. And I think they went to this store.
Yeah.
I don't think it was in a mall, or maybe it was in a strip mall, but it was like an old-timey candy shop, and it was big, and they had all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, some of these young people don't know how good real saltwater taffy is. Saltwater taffy's fucking fantastic.
They make good saltwater taffy in St. Augustine, like I said. They make it from scratch there.
Even like bullshit's more modernized saltwater taffy's good. I like that too. They got classic and they got the nouveau salt. I like them both. They're both. The new shit has stronger flavors in it, but the old school stuff is just kind of sweet and chewy. We got ghosts to talk about. I'm talking about this fucking crazy.
I know.
It's not
It's
not just me and you. It's them too. They're also responsible.
Oh, he's putting the blame on you guys. Do you guys hear that?
I'm putting the blame on these people, these damn subscribers.
You guys.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Everyone's
probably so drunk at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, they don't taste like anything to me.
Oh, fucking Danny Rolling Ghost, it talks about the juice-filled fucking wax fucking Coca-Cola bottles.
I remember those.
things?
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah. I remember those.
The fucking
Well, there were those, and then there were also ones that weren't even a shape. They were just like tubes, and they had different colored juice in them.
Yeah.
Like, and they came and it looked like kind of like a calliope situation.
Yeah. Kind of like Otter Pops. You used to freeze those things, and then you had the Pixie Sticks.
We had oh my God, Otter Pops. We didn't have Otter Pops. We had the off-brand Otter Pops that you get from the dollar store.
And you had the cinnamon buttons. They came on the wax paper and the little fucking cinnamon buttons. See?
Well, they had cinnamon buttons, and they had the other fruit. Fruit with a question mark.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fruit. Yeah, the colored ones.
I don't know what flavor those were supposed to be, but they certainly.
What about
weren't.
the cheap imitation M&Ms with the fucking plasticky fucking imitation fucking flavor to them? The cheap chocolate.
They were a little bit smaller.
They were smaller and harder. Terrible chocolate.
Man, what were those called? Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Bad M&Ms.
I don't know why I almost remembered this.
Taste
I
that
almost remembered
the artificial coloring on the fucking wax on the outside of it.
Shit, what was this called?
Sandra's like, what the fuck are these fucking people talking about? We're talking about real old school American candy.
Sandra says, Googled it. Necco wafers first produced in 1847.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra.
And the ones that are still for sale today all came from that year.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
That was no, not true.
No, I just made that up.
Not true. Those things were actually good. I liked them. They used to give them away all the time. You could buy them at the corner store when I was a little kid. You don't see them anymore. You have to order them special.
Yeah, well, I'm not too
I think
sad.
that was one of the first mass-produced candies.
I think it was, too. I think I saw something. Didn't we see, like, some kind of documentary or something like that where they're talking about, like, old-timey candy?
Yeah.
Because I'm fascinated by food history.
Yeah.
So, Do you want to get back to the ghost, or are we
back
still
to it.
talking about it?
Yeah,
Although,
yeah.
now I have to pee, so talk about candy some more.
Talk about
for
the
a minute.
candy. Okay, I'm going to talk about candy. Necco wafers. Sandra's probably
kind of Old West because it's 1840.
Yeah, this is an Old West thing.
It's an Old West candy.
It's an Old West candy. Cowboys would have known all about Necco wafers, which that behooves some of you non-Americans, or even Americans, I guess, that have never had Necco wafers to order some. You can order them online. And when you get them, they come they're rolled up in a roll of wax paper. And it had printed on the outside, I think it was red. I haven't seen them since I was a kid. It said Necco wafers, and it would have like where they were made. They were about the size of a nickel. Maybe that's why they called them Necco. But they were like the size of a 5-cent piece nickel. They were compressed powder. And they had like some light wax over them to keep them from sticking together. And the flavors were pretty good, you know what I mean? It was like vanilla and chocolate and anise, which would be black licorice. There may have been some other flavors. There may have been like a fruit flavor in there. And you chew them and they would crunch and turn into dust. They weren't that hard. They were about as hard as an antacid, like a Tums. But they were thin. And you could get a whole roll of them this big for 5 cents. They were just not, which was even in the 70s was nothing. They were just
still overpaid.
Nothing.
You still overpaid.
When you're a kid, if you could get, she's looking at it the wrong way.
I'd rather buy one Jolly Rancher.
When you're a little kid and you got a big piece of candy and it didn't cost anything really, you're just amazed.
I don't even care if it tastes like ass.
Yeah,
I'm just
you're
gonna
like,
eat the whole
whoa,
thing.
candy. I think some of them were mint too. It was mint, kind of like sweet.
They
it might have been
tasted. They
vanilla,
all
some
tasted
chocolate.
the same. They all tasted the same to me.
Kind of tasted. They were weak. It was a very weak flavor.
Yeah.
But it was candy. It was definitely candy. Cowboys and the ghosts of cowboys would have fucking known what Necco wafers were.
It was candy adjacent.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that segue.
There you go. There you go. It's cowboy candy.
Yeah. So so next time you're at one of these locations, you can leave some Necco wafers for the ghosts, and they'll really appreciate it. Because they'll be like, "Oh, hey, well, it went right again."
You make me want to get some.
Gross.
Yeah. Okay.
Cowboy ghosts are like, "Hey, I recognize that shit." Necco wafers. This is in theory. It says reconnection
Green.
successful.
Okay, so it's back. So it's back. It lost the connection, and it's back.
Whoever owns Necco wafers is mad at us.
They're mad at
It's
us.
like, turn it off.
Yeah.
Sorry, Necco wafers. You're gross, though.
Yeah. Joe Nash came in. He found out it was 1847 too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Older than I thought they were by almost 50 years.
That actually is older than I thought they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. We had a little hiccup there. We didn't say anything.
No, we were just going, oh shit, we lost.
Yeah, that's what we were saying the whole time. I was like, oh shit, no, it's not gonna come back. Fuck. Yeah, it was that. Yeah, actually OBS disconnected, but it reconnected. Looks like successfully. Yeah, Camp Guy says, my mother remembers going to her daddy's office and saying, give me a nickel or give me a penny. 1930s, she could get a whole bag of candies for a nickel or a dime.
Yeah.
Yep.
Andrea Smith said, when I was a kid, $1 was a whole pocket full of candy. Yeah, you get a lot for it. When I was a little kid, the high-tech candy that broke the fucking entire system was the fucking Jolly Rancher. Those little, and they were sticks.
Yeah.
Jolly Rancher sticks.
They sold them in little squares, too, like little...
That was a little bit after.
I think those were 5 cents when I was a kid.
When I was a kid, the sticks came out first. And we would get the watermelon, the fire sticks, the
Watermelon's
strawberry,
the best one.
the pink lemonade. Just, I don't know if they have that in Germany, but Jolly Rancher was the shit.
Yeah, Jolly Ranchers are pretty good. Like I said, I like watermelon and the strawberry and cherry flavors.
For $0.25 or 50 cents, you could get a whole bunch of those sticks, and you'd just be happy as shit. You'd be fucking up the roof of your mouth, sucking on that thing, and it would.
And it gets sharp.
It would get sharp, and it would fucking form to the palate on the roof of your mouth like a damn fucking retainer. And we go, look, I got braces, and make like a retainer. Remember that shit? We were playing all those games.
Oh my god, I think we used to do that too.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I totally forgot about that. That's pretty funny. All right, so
There's mice in this.
okay, so I'm gonna need a new drink in a minute.
Okay, I'll make them up.
Like in a minute, not right this second.
Okay.
So what was I talking about? So I was talking about the Salt Witch, like I said, not Lot's wife, although that would be funny if that's what they called it. So there's this pillar of salt standing on the Nebraska plain. So the legend behind this pillar is that there was supposedly an Indian tribe that lived, I don't know which Indian tribe, that lived at the junction of the rivers, like near where this pillar was soon to appear. So the chief of this particular tribe was said to be this real mean son of a bitch. Like respected, but everyone was also kind of like afraid of him because, So apparently the only person that could keep his ass in line was his wife. Now, his wife ended up dying at some point, and he was so busted up about it that he basically locked himself into his lodge and wouldn't come out and wouldn't let anybody in to see him because he was dealing with some shit, Now, he was in there for so long that everybody in the tribe was like, man, what the fuck is going... We need another chief, maybe. We need some, chiefing done, and the dude is, not living up to his responsibilities. We get it, but, So they were talking about that. Now, so that had kind of... The rumblings of that had been going on for a while. But then the chief comes out one day of his lodge. And he comes out with all his, war shit on. Like, he's going into battle. And he didn't say nothing to anybody, but he just strikes out across the plain, going west. He's gone for a month. He comes back a month later. And according to the tribes people, he was apparently a lot more talkative when he came back. He'd kind of gotten over his shit a little bit. Although, what he said he saw, I don't know. He should have been traumatized, you'd think. But he came back and he started talking about what he had seen on his journey. Another thing, he apparently killed a bunch of dudes too. On this, I think this is just tangential to his thing, but because he had a whole bunch of scalps. So, So he brings back a bunch of scalps and a big lump of salt. He says, I was traveling over the prairie or the plain or whatever, and I laid down to camp, to sleep one night, and I was awakened by this kind of wailing sound, like a screaming that was very, very close by. So he wakes up, and then he said that he saw, in the light of the moon, he says he sees this terrifying old woman, and she had a tomahawk. And she had this younger woman down on her knees, like by the neck, like that, like she's about to fucking tomahawk a bitch, like the old lady was. So the younger woman obviously was just kind of like, bitch, let go of me, you know what I mean? She's like trying to get away and stuff. Now, the chief is like, what the fuck? What are these two ladies doing out here in the middle of nowhere, like having this big, brouhaha? So he runs over there to see what's going on. And so the younger woman is like trying to get away. And the older woman has her hand like all wrapped up in her hair and is basically going to like, split her head in two. Now, at this point, the chief says that he saw the younger woman's face and that it was his dead wife's face. And he's kind of like, okay, well, this is not going to stand, right? So he jumps on the old lady and puts his own, like he had a tomahawk too, and he puts it in the old lady's head, right? But when he did that, and then like he tried to save the younger woman who he thought was his dead wife. But he said at that moment, it seemed as though the earth sort of opened up and both the women disappeared. And the spot where this happened, he said a pillar of salt just went zoop, like that. And he brought the pillar of salt, like not the whole pillar, obviously, but he brought like a chunk of salt back, like as kind of like, here's like proof of my story. So for a long time, that pillar of salt stood there, and that was the legend around it, that was the salt witch, that was the witch, that because the guy had hit her in the head, he turned her into salt. And so for a long time, when they would go, like, the legend was that when tribes around there would go to collect salt from this big pillar, that they would always kind of like beat the ground around there to make sure that like the witch wasn't gonna like pop back out and like tomahawk their asses or whatever. So I don't think the pillar is there anymore, but that was the legend surrounding it for that it hadn't been there. And then he actually like was like, bitch, and like, and then she turned into a pillar of salt, like I said, like Lot's wife. So I thought that was kind of like a cool story.
Okay, Ilsa asked if jerky was Old West candy. No, it wasn't. Jerky was Old West MRE. That was meal ready to eat. That was their.
Yeah, that was shit that you could just take with, because that's like protein and it's easy to carry and it lasts forever.
No refrigeration.
Yeah, you don't need refrigeration.
You can make it in the field.
Yeah,
they would make jerky in the field. It's
like an energy bar.
You just take meat, slice it thin, and let it dry in the sun, or you smoke it forever until all the damn moisture's out of it, and you can eat that. It's mostly damn just dehydrated.
Ilsa says, "Wait, I didn't ask that." No, you didn't. It was it was Rebecca.
It was
actually.
Rebecca.
Yeah, it was Rebecca.
Okay, sorry, that was Elsa.
And Andrea said hardtack also.
Yeah,
that was
that was terrible.
What was all in hardtack?
Hardtack was just water and flour and.
There was something else in there too. Wasn't it like suet, like beef fat or
beef
something?
Beef fat tallow or something.
Yeah, it was something like that.
It's just
like
made
kind of made into a brick.
Yeah, made out of the garbage that you could get at any general store and anything that was left over after you're cooking, and you could just make that. Yeah, carry that. That'll be all right. It was no nutrition in that shit. They didn't know about they didn't know about nutrition back then. They'd try to live off of anything. Don't try to live off of hardtack. Even back then, they knew that it was bad. But you'll starve to death not eating that.
They're gonna go out like mining for gold or whatever the hell they're doing back in the day, and you're gonna be camping out on the plain. So you gotta take some shit, like I said, like some jerky or some shit like that. That's gonna be easy to carry and that is not gonna spoil.
Living off of hardtack would be kind of like living off of crackers and butter. That's what it'd be like. I don't think you could do it long term. You'd die of malnutrition eventually. They did die of malnutrition.
Well, yeah.
They just didn't know what it was sometimes.
They're like, well, he just died.
He just died. Yeah.
That happens sometimes, I suppose.
What's he been eating? Hardtack for how long? Years.
Oh my God! I hope nobody ate hardtack for years.
Yeah, you don't know what they're doing.
They ate some pretty shitty
They
stuff
eat shitty
back
shit.
then.
Yeah, eat shitty stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't know anything about nutrition.
Well, they didn't know any better. I mean, you know. I'm not
So
they didn't. I'm not shitting on that. They weren't dumb. It's just that, you know, technology hadn't really progressed to a point where.
They didn't have science. They didn't know about
Right.
nutritional science.
No, of course not.
They just knew what tasted good.
Although hardtack doesn't taste good, though.
No,
I
that-
kind of feel like maybe the perception was, well, they were getting something to eat that was easy to carry, that you could just, like, stick in your pocket or whatever.
And it was cheap.
And it was cheap.
And it lasted forever, so you
Right.
could eat it. So therefore, you ate something. They didn't know.
Yeah, so like, well, it's better to eat something rather than nothing.
Yeah, they didn't know.
Which in general, that's true. I'm just saying that if you're going to be out in a canyon mining for months at a time,
Right.
probably you're going to get rickets or some shit.
Yeah, well, you get scurvy too if you're not getting any vitamin C.
That was what I was just going to say. You probably get some scurvy also.
You couldn't live off of jerky, but you could live a lot longer off of jerky.
Yeah,
I mean,
you probably could.
You need to get citrus in there, and you need to get some vegetables, which they did that.
Well, shit, man.
I'd
Even
take
back
jerky
in
over hardtack
well,
any
even
day.
back in the old days, they knew about. I mean, the pirates and shit like that knew about scurvy because
Yeah,
they'd
they knew
always
about-
like bring citrus fruits,
Yeah.
limes and shit.
Yeah,
and
they
they
knew about-
always, you know, they supplemented their diet with that because they knew what would happen if you didn't have citrus. You know,
Yeah, but who knew what dudes out in the Old West knew?
that's
They knew
true.
some of that, but they didn't know everything.
That's the thing.
Not
it's,
all those dudes were the
It's
brightest.
very easy to think like nowadays information is just everywhere and it's very easily
Yeah.
disseminated. Back in the old days, you're kind of like, well, you know, pirates in the 16 and 1700s knew about scurvy, but would some random dude in the Old West have necessarily known that? Maybe not.
Random dudes in the Old West mostly just lived off of things like rabbits and fish and the occasional deer. And they'd trade with Indians and eat things that Indians gave them, which were kind of like a pumice thing, little fucking biscuits with damn nuts and fruit in it or berries in it. And maybe there's some pieces of meat in it, and they'd go, that don't taste all that good, but shit, here, eat that. You know what I mean? It's shit like that.
Although I feel like back then they probably didn't have real discerning
No,
palates.
they just ate.
I mean, one, they probably smoked like chimneys, so I don't
Yeah.
even know if they could even taste anything
When they
after a
could get
certain
it,
point. So, and they were used to shitty food. It's not like they were, you know, it's not like they'd lived their entire lives up to that point being foodies and like, you know.
They enjoyed meat cooked over fires, which everybody has been doing that for thousands of years.
Which
They
I'll
preferred-
admit, that's pretty damn
They
good.
preferred that over anything.
Even nowadays, we'll grill a steak
Yeah.
every now
They
and then,
prefer
and
that.
it's delicious.
They preferred that over anything. That and fish over fire. And then they'd carry coffee with them and make coffee. Cowboys carried coffee. That blew people's minds.
Yeah.
But no, they carried coffee. They cook it in a pot. They had different ways of cooking it. They'd overcook it. They'd recook those fucking coffee grounds or beans or cracked up beans. They'd cook them 4 or 5 times, try to get more coffee out of them. I imagine that shit got bitter as shit. Bitter as fuck. They weren't coffee connoisseurs. They just were trying to get every bit of fucking that they could.
That's
out
what
of
I'm
coffee.
saying. It's not like, oh, every day I'm going to get my, you know, cinnamon dolce de
Yeah.
leche or latte or whatever, and then like suddenly, oh, now I have to go out in the canyon and I'm going to drink this shitty
Yeah.
ass coffee. You know, they were just used to drinking it like that. I don't even know if they had a conception that shit could like actually taste good.
Oh no, they knew. Just they knew that meat tasted good. They knew bread and stuff like that, and honey. They knew, but just they ate what they could get.
Yeah.
When they got out in the Sierra Nevadas and really good parts of the United States, there's a lot to eat out there. They were eating pretty well. You know, so they had skills. Fish, meat, rabbits, squirrels. You know, they ate pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, even like just fish over a fire
Oh, yeah.
is really good.
Yeah, they eat a lot of them.
Even without a lot of seasoning.
And
it's
people
still
forget
pretty
that they
good.
could fish. They knew all about fishing. They may not fish with, the same way we fish now. I think they mostly fished with nets and traps, but they could get fish. Although I'm fishing with a hook with a pole, that was 1800s. They knew about that too.
Yeah, I mean, that seems a
Yeah.
pretty obvious thing to
You don't need a fishing line that could just
Well, I
run
mean,
it
the
down.
Native Americans were fishing,
Yeah.
so you'd think that they would have picked that
Yeah,
up.
a lot of times they used a basket to fish. You know that?
Yeah.
It was like a net. It was like a basket. And they'd put that in a place where water was going, and they'd wedge it between rocks and wait for a fish to get caught in it and pull the basket out and then put it back. And they do that in the rapids.
Yeah.
It's an easy way of doing it.
Yeah, like that totally makes sense.
Chase
all right.
them up on the shore. That's another thing too. So you put a bunch of sticks in the ground to make a wall, and let them go in. It's up near the bank.
Fish are like, oh, what's this
they're
over
going in
here?
there eating, and then the place where the wall has an opening in it,
Suckers.
you walk around and you get in that opening and close the opening and chase them up onto the damn bank. That's another
Those
way.
fish are like, oh, you assholes!
yeah.
We fall for that every single time. God damn it!
Right. There's a bunch of different ways to do it.
Poor fishes.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad they're so delicious.
Yeah.
I might need another drink, I think.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about. This was kind of a cool story. I like this one. This is the legend of Silver Heels. So this happened in a place with the fabulous name of Buckskin Joe, Colorado. This was in 1861. So this woman arrives. Sadly, her real name has not been recorded. She was just known as Silver Heels. She was a dance hall girl. She came into town on the stagecoach. And she was apparently the most beautiful girl that anybody in this town had ever seen. This was a mining camp. So she comes in there, and she starts working at, the dance hall. I don't know, nobody knows why she's called Silver Heels, presumably because she had, silver dancing shoes or whatever. But that's the only name that anybody remembers her by. As I said, her real name is not recorded. So she actually just came into Buckskin Joe for a limited engagement. But because the people in the town, because the people in the town thought she was so beautiful and they loved her so much, they begged her to stay. They just gave her all this money and presents and stuff. Please don't leave. So she's like, okay, well, I'll stay here and, continue her engagement dancing. Now, winter of 1861 came, and the town was stricken with a smallpox epidemic. So, it was really bad. There was just pretty much everybody got sick overnight. It was terrible. Now, there were just numerous deaths. Now, Silver Heels, to her credit, she was one of the people that stepped up and pretty much played ersatz nurse to a lot of people who were sick. Because they sent to other cities for nurses, but they had their own problems and they didn't send anybody. So basically people in the town that weren't sick, they were kind of asking them, hey, please, can you help us out with all these sick people? So Silver Heel stepped up, and she just went to everybody's house and was helping everybody out that was sick, doing what she could do, and showed that she was quote unquote just a dancing girl, but she apparently really stepped up and did all this stuff. Now she just stayed in everybody's houses. She was apparently not worried about getting sick herself, which apparently she did. They don't know exactly what happened to her in the end. They think that what happened was that the epidemic had mostly passed by the time the spring of 1862 came along. Now, by that time, Silver Heels, they're not really sure what happened to her, but the most common story is that because she had spent so much of her time tending to people with smallpox, that obviously she had probably contracted smallpox herself. Nobody really thinks she died of it. They think that she got it and recovered. But if you don't know, smallpox, a lot of times if you got it and recovered, it would really fuck up your face a lot of times. And so they think that this is what happened to her. She had, her face was disfigured from all the smallpox wounds or whatever you want to call them. And that she didn't want anybody to see her. So they think that maybe that's what happened to her, that she kind of went on the down low because she'd kind of been known for being so beautiful, and she got smallpox, and, she didn't look the same as she looked before, and she didn't want anybody to see her face. So But apparently, like, a lot of the miners looked for her afterwards because they're like, well, we don't care if you look ugly now. We still love you. You're still awesome. They went to her house, and it had been cleaned out, like she moved, but they couldn't find her. They didn't think that she'd left by a stagecoach. Nobody had really seen her leave the town, but they didn't really know what had happened to her. So, like I said, it may be... I don't know if she died. I mean, if she died, you'd think they would know. But I think what happened was that she got smallpox and got the fuck out of there so no one would see her because, you know, they were used to seeing her the way she used to look.
She didn't want to let down the fans.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's what it was. But it was kind of sad because a lot of the people in town, allegedly, this is a story anyway, a lot of people in town still wanted to find her. Like, they, you know, because they're like, well, you're still awesome. We don't care, like, what you look like. But they did say that a couple years later that there was seen in the cemetery in the town that there was a woman that would come there sometimes that had like a whole bunch of like black veils over her face. So they thought that maybe that was her, and she didn't want anybody to see her. Now, because everybody in this town loved her so much, there was actually a mountain like local to the town, and they named it Mount Silver Heels after her. Now, as I said, when they thought they saw this woman in the cemetery that they thought was her, that's when she was still alive, presumably. But later on, and even into recent times, it's very common for people to report seeing a heavily veiled woman, all in black, walking through the cemetery in Buckskin Joe, Colorado, carrying flowers. And they think that this is probably her. Now, they say if you go up to her, that she'll disappear. But, you know, as I said, because she thought that, I don't know, I guess she thought everybody just loved her because she was beautiful. And then when she wasn't beautiful anymore, she's like, yeah, don't look at me anymore. And then she just, like, went into hiding. But, so I guess when she died, but a lot of people have said that she still haunts the place, or particularly haunts that cemetery, and maybe is visiting the people that she tended to, like, before they died of smallpox. Now, there's another guy. This is very weird. There's another ghost, sort of, in the same town. This is another legend about this town, Buckskin Joe, Colorado. Now, there was this dude named J. Dawson Hidgepath, I think was his last name. And he comes to this town looking for gold. He was a miner, and he was looking for a wife also. Now, what ended up happening to him, though, sadly, was that in 1865, I guess he had been trying to prospect for gold on the side of a mountain, but without a buddy, I guess, and he had fallen. So they actually found his busted up body on the bottom of Mount Boss. So he'd been prospecting for gold up there, and he fell, and he died. Now, so they found him and they buried him. And then, this is so weird. This is like the first time I've ever heard of this type of thing happening. So they buried him, but then, apparently, his bones turned up in the bed of a prostitute in the next town over.
Now, come on now.
Now, everybody in town just thought somebody had, like, dug his ass up and put it in somebody's bed, like, as a joke.
Yeah.
But the shit kept happening, apparently. So the story goes, so they think that this dude was such a poon hound that his bones just keep turning up
I gotta get me
in various beds in brothels.
It's
like
hell
in town.
being a sex symbol.
I know. That's what I thought of. I was like, oh, I gotta put that on the show. That is funny as
Get
shit.
me out of here. I gotta get me some. Hold on.
Elsa says his bones. Yeah. Apparently so. Apparently, they keep reburying the dude, and every now and then, like some sex worker will be like going back to her bed in the brothel, just like, Jesus, there he is.
I'm ready for you, man. Jump on this bone. Get working.
See, I thought you'd like that.
Yeah.
But is it that just?
I'm paid. We're talking about paid. Money's on the nightstand. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is. I said I definitely have to add that story because that is hilarious.
Yeah.
That it's like his little bones are so horny.
Yeah. He's got
That he can't even stay in the grave. His little skeleton has his little disarticulated skeleton has to dig out of the grave and go like lay in the prostitutes' beds.
Yeah. First of all,
I'm ready for you, ladies. I'm ready.
First of all, I don't believe this fucking story not one bit.
It's a good story,
but it's
though.
a good story. It's a good story. It's made in honor of some dude that was a poon hound. Yeah, you know they still find him. He's back every day. He's up here.
We can't even keep him in the grave.
Yeah, I don't even know.
He turning up in all kind of like hookers' beds all over the town.
It's probably not based on a real man. It's
Ilsa says old horny bones.
yeah. It's just a story that dudes would relate to. Oh yeah, I know a guy just like that. It ain't me though. You know?
Death won't stop him.
Yeah.
I find that delightful. That is a delightful story.
Yeah.
That is just, and I had never heard that of actual. That's not even actually really a haunt. Well, it's kind of a haunting, but you don't really hear about people's bones walking around
Trying to get laid.
and trying to get laid.
Yeah.
That's why that was new on me. So I'm kind of into it.
That is exactly like something.
I like that story.
That is exactly the kind of ghost story that dudes in the Old West would tell.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
think that's kind of why.
Yeah, every time them old sporting gals would find him in bed over and over again, just nothing but bones. Oh hell yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, for all I know, I might end up like that after I die. You know what I mean? That's like some shit Old West dudes would talk about. And they'd be like, oh yeah, we better hope. We better hope that's what it's like. Yeah. Pass me that coffee.
That shitty ass coffee.
Yeah. Damn, that's strong. Yeah.
And then
I got some of that new high-fangled, what they call sanitary paper. You wipe your butt with it. You ever heard of that? It's medicated. Yeah. Oh, it's a lot better than a corn cob. It's a lot better than a corn
got
cob.
some aloe and shit in there.
Yeah. It's paper, but it's kind of soft.
Wow.
You try some of that.
Who'd have thunk
Some
it?
of this medicated
What a
hygienic
time
paper.
to be alive.
Yeah, hygienic. This is some high tech. This is high tech. Look at that. That's hygienic. Smell it. Oh yeah, smell that. Oh, she yeah, dog it. That smell good. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna try this out.
Don't you look now.
Yeah, right. Put some coffee on. I'll be back in a second.
Just gonna go over here behind it.
Yeah. I know exactly what they're thinking.
The Old West
We'll
guys
talk when I come back.
The Old West guys discovering toilet paper.
Yeah. Around that time.
It's funny because like toilet paper now it seems so obvious.
Yeah, not to
but
them.
I guess not.
No. It's hygienic. Hell yeah, it's hygienic. They you know they talk that shit up. Smell that. Oh yeah, ain't that something? How much you pay for that? Damn, that's steep, man. I don't know if I pay that.
You so fancy.
I don't think I pay that. Yeah. Comes in its own box and everything. Doctor told me to use it.
Because I got piles.
Yeah. You know how them saddles sore, them getting sore up in the saddles and my hemorrhoids and everything. Doctor told me to use that.
Yeah. I'm sure they had probably fucking hemorrhoids out the wazoo, you would think.
Yeah.
Being all on horseback all the time.
Yeah, not really having modern laundry facilities.
God.
Who knows?
Everybody
how
was just
long.
so covered with fucking disgusting germs.
Wouldn't surprise me if a lot of those dudes are just riding around with leather pants, no underwear.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Just like, I would not want to see like a scratch and sniff Western documentary.
Yeah, and then
I'm just
those
saying.
dudes didn't shave, and they didn't have toilet paper, so it couldn't have been good. And then they took a bath with their clothes on. That was another one that blew my fucking
Well, I'm
mind.
washing my clothes and my body at the same time.
Yeah, they would just get in the water.
It's efficient.
They just get in the water, dirty ass fucking water.
Well, and it was water that was like reused from like the last dude, right? I don't think
No,
they
I'm just talking
bothered
about
to
in
like
the,
fucking.
that or in the field.
Yeah.
They just get into a fucking muddy stream with their clothes on and go woo and fucking and take a bath with their long
clean-ish.
johns on. With their long johns.
Well, I mean that's better than not doing that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it's probably not.
What's funny is
Not
people
up to
don't
modern
realize that this
standards.
is the Victorian era. They're kind of like they're kind of worried about fucking nudity. So you know what I mean. They left the long johns on in front of other men, bathing in the stream for some reason.
Because even Old West, they were like, no homo.
Don't be no homo. Hey, love y'all, but no homo. I ain't make my shit off. Y'all might be looking.
Y'all may be looking at my bone.
Yeah.
You should have put it. Do you have a cowboy hat? You don't have a cowboy hat.
No.
I thought you should have worn a cowboy hat.
I need to get a cowboy hat.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I feel like you should have one, but you don't. Ilsa says, while he's using the toilet paper, the other guy breaks out his guitar and sings the Ballad of Old Horny Bones while the coffee's brewing.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be back in a minute. We'll talk more about it. Hey, next time
have some hardtack.
I need to be in a cowboy movie. Hey, in a couple of days we're gonna be up in fucking we're at Silver Creek. You know, you're gonna be chasing them calico girls. You know, it's nothing but tail up there. Oh, I know, boy. I know. They got nothing but sporting gals up at that town.
Sporting gals. That's right.
Gals. It's gonna be great. You got money? Yeah, I got money. Gonna make more money playing cards too.
Mm-hmm. Camp Guy's quoting from Canterbury Tales about shitting 3 great turds, except in Old English.
It's in Old English talking about shitting 3 great turds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever read the Canterbury Tales?
No.
That shit's fucking filthy.
No,
It is, yeah. We read it in high school. But yeah. It's we had a great time with it. Like I said, it's in Old English, so you have to like know what all the shit is. Is it in Old English or Middle English? I can't remember. But yeah, it's fucking filthy. It's all about pooping and sex.
Camp Guy says the eating what they did, it probably shit just came out in pellets like a fucking rabbit. Probably.
Yeah, it probably did.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, which is gross to think about. But I guess that was like, I don't know. I guess that was the best we could hope for. YouTube algorithm did not like me talking about pooping or Canterbury Tales or something. Somebody's upset. I don't know. I know. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. I'm just like, I'm getting into like Tom's conspiracy theory that it only does that when we say something controversial and somebody says it doesn't like. Obviously, that's not what it is, but because I'm just talking about random shit. I'm talking about a skeleton that like hops to different prostitutes' bed, for Christ's sake. All right, so let's talk about let's talk about Deadwood and the Bullock Hotel. So okay, so Deadwood, probably one of the most famous Old West towns. So in 1876, these 2 guys show up in Deadwood, South Dakota, and their names were Seth Bullock and Saul Starr. Now, they had a hardware store in Helena, Montana, and they came in their little wagon with all their shit, like, in the back of the wagon. Now, as soon as they get to Deadwood, they pretty much set up what nowadays you might call, like, a pop-up hardware store. So they brought all this stuff from their hardware store, and they're just like, hey, come and get your chamber pots and all this other kind of stuff. So everybody came around, so they, like, started selling their stuff. So what they did was they bought a lot on a corner, and they built a new store, like a hardware store, and a warehouse there in Deadwood. Now, Seth Bullock had actually been a sheriff prior in Montana. And what happened was that after Wild Bill Hickok, who, you know, very famous Wild West dude, he died in 1876. So they're like, okay, well, we need a new, we need more law and order around here. So Seth Bullock gets appointed as the first sheriff of Deadwood, like a few months after Wild Bill Hickok died. Now, Seth Bullock was apparently kind of an intimidating dude. He was kind of like real big, had these kind of like scary eyes, and he was just kind of like one of the kind of, you know, Old West type of dude. One of the quotes that I found on Legends of America was his grandson said about him, he could outstare a mad cobra or a rogue elephant.
Okay.
So he was a mean motherfucker. Shut your mouth. Yeah. He was. So he appointed a bunch of deputies, and he's gonna like clean up the joint. It sounds like a Western movie, but that's why all the Western movies are like this, because this is some shit that really happened.
Oh, yeah, well, dude comes in and goes, this place is all fucked up. I can get rid of these losers.
Yeah, I'm gonna like fucking work.
That shit did happen.
We're gonna establish some fucking order in this shit.
Yeah.
That's what he said. So he got a bunch of, because apparently this place before that was just kind of like woo, everybody's just like fucking running amok, you know.
Yeah.
So he did kind of like crack down and get some shit together, while running the hardware store with his buddy, his partner.
Yeah.
So they had this hardware store, and then like the back of it was like a warehouse, and then the front was the hardware store. Now, 1879, just like I mentioned earlier, it seems like every major town in the Old West completely burned to the ground at some point. It's just like every single one.
Yeah.
Deadwood, again, no exception. Burned to the ground mostly in 1879. The hardware store didn't burn down that time. But in 1894, there was yet another fire. Just stop it, you guys. Stop building everything out of wood and oily rags and drinking and knocking lanterns over every 5 seconds.
They couldn't help it.
I know. I guess
No electricity.
Not. I guess not.
It's more.
Why does this keep happening?
It's more lack of electricity than anything else.
Yeah.
As soon as electricity became dominant, fires fucking started fucking disappearing. That and building codes, they built shit right next to each other, so if one building caught fire, the other one would catch on fire.
Well, yeah, that was another thing too. It's
all
just
kinds of crazy
well, shit, man. That even happened in big cities like London and shit like that. It's like one building caught, everybody's like, well, we're fucked.
That's it.
It just
Buildings
spread.
are too fucking close together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't really think about it, which you'd think they would have thought about it, because it's like, well, there's fire in every single house, always.
Well, it's understandable. You're a dude, right? A dude. And a dude buys a piece of land, and he goes, I'm going to build something on this land. Even though it's a tiny piece of land in between everything else. Yeah, he's going to try to make his shit as big as he can. I'm going to
squish my shit right in here.
Yeah, right. That's what's happening.
And I'm going to set fires inside it to cook shit and to light shit up.
If shit goes up and this one burns down, oh well. You got to have building codes. Romans knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild West.
Even though their shit burned down too.
Well, yeah, it happens. Well, even nowadays it happens.
Yeah.
But you can't prevent nature.
Right.
It's just that don't tempt it.
You need a motherfucker to say no. That's what it is. You gotta have a motherfucker to say no. So when something happens and it goes, I want to buy this piece of land, you gotta go no, because I know what you're gonna do with it. Okay. The land is divided. Yeah, you're gonna put something there, and we gotta empty this shit out. Okay. And that eventually happened, in cities, is people would just say, no, that lot is part of this lot now, or we're going to cut it down in half. You can't outbuild anything there. It's too fucking crowded. And over the decades, towns loosened up where there was distance between things.
Which is good.
Right.
Because like I said, you don't want one house catching fire and then like burning the whole fucking city down.
6 inches clearing.
Which happened a lot back then. Like I said, in the Old West, one building caught fire, the whole town would burn down. Right. Whole town would burn down. Because they built everything right next to each other. Yeah. So yeah, 1879, big massive fire. Hardware store survived that. But guess what? 1894, there was another one. Another fire. This time, the hardware store did not survive. All that was left was the warehouse in the back, which was actually made of brick, but everything else burned down to the fucking floorboards. So, there you go. So what happens, Seth Bullock and his partner in the hardware store, Saul Starr, they're like, okay, well, I guess they still had money or they had really good insurance or something, because they're like, they just lost all their shit, but okay. They're like, we're going to build the best fucking hotel that Deadwood has ever... I don't know how many hotels they had in Deadwood. Probably not that many.
Seen that many hotels.
That's what I mean. So, but they're going to we're going to build like some fancy ass shit up in here. So they're going to build that over where the original store was. So they went all out. This is some fucking... They brought in fucking... this fancy ass marble stuff, or sandstone from Boulder Canyon. They built this they had this big restaurant that you could, 100 people could sit in there. They had lobster and pheasant and all that kind of shit. red velvet carpet, big brass chandeliers.
Yeah, this place is pimping.
Yeah, they pimped it out.
Okay.
63 rooms. That's a big ass hotel for
They had
this
enough
time period.
money going through Deadwood.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Who's staying in this place?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing if what'd you have? Like, was this the one hotel that like the fancy ass people would stay in,
Right.
and then you had the one hotel that was like the the Super 8 or something that like the fucking janky ass people would stay in?
1870s?
Yeah, 1890s.
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 During this time, Detroit was booming.
Yeah,
They
so
were
I'm
building
sure
stuff
that,
like
I mean,
that.
obviously they had enough money to like do this shit.
Yeah, there was stuff in the 1890s that's fucking was built in Detroit. It's still fucking beautiful today. They're trying to restore it. Companies went in there and bought it. And there's libraries and hotels, that type of shit. So I know the kind of buildings they're talking about. They were fucking wild, wild. But you have to have a lot of foot traffic, and they have to have a lot of money going through there. I don't understand it.
I mean,
Deadwood was a small gold rush.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm kind of like, I mean, 63 rooms, 63 luxury rooms, that's a hard ask.
That's like something you'd put in old New York or old Detroit or old Chicago.
In a big city.
Yeah.
Because obviously you'd get a lot of people coming through
Yeah.
there. Deadwood, I don't know.
Nah. Deadwood doesn't exist anymore.
Well, no,
gone.
it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
But, yeah, building it back then, in the late 1800s, early
Quite a gamble.
1900s,
Yeah, quite a gamble.
I don't know, man. They're just saying, like, each floor, like, look, this is what it said. Each floor had a bathroom, which, this was a little bit before every room had a bathroom. Everybody had, like, a pot with water in it and, like, a fucking, a pitcher with water or whatever. You just washed up in that. But every single floor had a bathroom, so everybody used that. So that was, like, super fancy at the time. Big old piano in the fucking lobby, all that kind of shit. Had a library, everything. Super fancy. Yeah, so apparently this was the place to go if you had some money and you were coming to Deadwood for whatever reason. Now, they also bought, in 1900, there was a little building that was next to the hotel, and they bought that, and they turned that into a bar. So there was that, too. Now, Seth Bullock, who was one of the owners, he died in 1919, and, was kind of buried out there later. Now, like, kind of close to where he lived, like, out on this ranch. Now, the thing about it, though, even though he was buried out by his ranch, which is not in Deadwood, a lot of people have reported that Seth Bullock still haunts the hotel that he built, because apparently that shit's still there. Yeah, so I guess this, like I said, I guess this hotel's still there, so apparently it's been going all that time. Yeah, it's still, there's a bar there and everything. There's and a restaurant and whatnot. So some people have said that they've seen the figure of Seth Bullock, who's a very distinctive, like I said, he was a big dude, and he kind of looked really, really intimidating. Like, he had really, like, gray eyes, and he was always kind of like he always kind of looked like that. So a lot of people have said that they've seen him kind of walking around the hotel. They've seen him in the restaurant. They've seen him in the basement. And apparently, the people that work there, they say that seeing his ghost is more common when people are, like, dicking around.
Yeah.
So apparently Seth is there, like, managing the shit from
Right.
the afterlife. Why are you guys, like, on a smoke break? What are you doing?
He's
Like, why
tightening
are
up
you
the
just...
ship.
That's what I mean. So they do report, well, like, when they're just, like, farting around on their cell phones or whatever, like, Seth will show up and be, like, glare at them. You know what I mean?
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so...
Get to work.
Right. So they've reported that it's, like, more common then. So he's just, like, keeping shit under control. He's like, I'm dead, but I'm still watching you bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep track of this shit. Also, there's been some poltergeist activity reported. In the restaurant, people have said that, like, plates and glasses have, like, flown around, or shake on the shelves. That has been reported multiple times. Also reported multiple times, appliances and lights turning on and off by themselves. Shit moving around when nobody's looking at it. Showers turning off and on. That kind of stuff. So, like I said, poltergeist activity.
Yeah.
Very common in that hotel. What?
No, I was just going to say, make sure if you guys are enjoying the show to drop Jenny a fucking super chat in the comments section. It would be much appreciated. We're maybe only, we're not even really, we're halfway through the material now.
Well, a little bit more than
Well,
that.
yeah, so we've got probably at least an hour and a half for the show left.
Which is Scary
least.
because we're at 3 hours already.
Yeah.
But,
right.
you know, that's what
Well,
happens
sometimes
when
we
you
have
start.
long shows. It's holidays. You know what I mean?
It's a holiday.
It's holidays. So I'm passing around. I'm asking to pass around the fucking tray, the plate. Pass the plate around. I got some turkey for y'all. Okay, I'm gonna feed turkey to everybody. Okay, after this, somehow
We're
spiritually.
going to pretend. We're going to push it at the camera.
Spiritually. I ought to fucking hit Facebook tomorrow and ask if anybody needs fucking Thanksgiving. What do you think?
You probably should.
I mean, all our friends have Thanksgiving, I know.
But if somebody,
we'll see.
honestly, this house is so big. We have
Yeah.
so much fucking food.
Yeah.
We should have thought of this before now, actually.
Right.
I actually thought of it earlier because
We got a lot of food.
Because a friend of ours, I think it was Tiff,
Yeah.
the bartender at iBar.
Yeah,
She opens up her house every year
Okay,
for people
yeah.
that don't have a place to go. So probably we should do that too.
I'll see. I'll check.
See if anybody needs anywhere to go. Because
Alright.
like I said, we have so much fucking food.
I mean, I don't want to put it out just to everybody on my friends list because some of the people I don't like. I'll put it out to the people I do like, you know.
Well, you know, you can post things that are invisible to certain people.
Yeah,
you know that,
right? Because then all of a sudden I'll have some motherfuckers. I'll be like, oh, you? Nah.
Some weirdo showed up at your door.
No, thanks.
I know you're on my friends list, but
Yeah,
I don't really
I'm
want
just
you
allowing
around.
that shit.
I mean, I don't know if anybody's gonna want to come all the way out.
Well, you know,
here.
Angel's fucking. She's got Thanksgiving. She always got Thanksgiving. And then you got fucking Walker. Okay, he's with his woman, and they got Thanksgiving. Who else do we even fucking know? I mean,
we know lots of people.
we know
What are you
lots
talking
of
about?
people, but they're all gonna have it. You know what I mean? Laura and her husband. Are
actually
they married or is it just
No, I
different?
actually had Thanksgiving with them 1 year. Like it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 10 years ago, maybe something
And
like that.
I would think that Dimitri and his wife and his kid.
Well, they usually have Thanksgiving with his parents
That's
or
what I
his
figured.
parents. I
That's
think.
what I figured.
I think her parents are in Pennsylvania.
I wonder if Little Swole got Thanksgiving.
Oh, I don't know.
I'll have to ask.
Because his mom passed away.
Yeah. Let me see.
So I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe you should check with him. Maybe he
I'm
wants to come
gonna
out
check with
here.
Little Swole right now.
Honestly, I forgot to tell you. And this is like we're just like having a discussion here. But
Yeah.
well, because I'm in here working most of the day, so I don't get like talk time much. My sister is coming down on vacation this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I might go to my mom's house in Ocala on Sunday if she's going there.
This Sunday? Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
I'll see what time she's gonna come down. She lives in Atlanta. Because honestly, the whole week she came down. She booked a whole week at the Disney parks. So she's staying at the Disney parks. So she has mostly like shit going on at the Disney parks, and I can't afford to
Yeah.
go to the Disney parks.
Yeah.
So I'm either gonna have to see her at my mom's house on Sunday in Ocala, or I might have to drive to Daytona on Friday to see her at my brother's house. So I'm gonna see like what she's doing, because I do want to see her, because I don't get to see her that often. But you know, so either Sunday I'll have to drive to Ocala, or Friday I'll have to drive to Daytona. We'll see.
All right.
David June says Mimi shows up.
Sophie says she'll probably jump into the stream here in a minute. She's in the car.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
She's listening to last week's, and I was like, "What are you talking about? You need to listen to the fucking."
What, the John Teeter one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. We got a lot of our regulars are behind. Okay, I see it. I'm off. I can't understand it. Shit turns red. We'll wait for that shit to come back.
I mean, it went down to 0, but it's coming back.
it's coming back.
Just
It's coming back. Yeah.
It rarely stops
Right.
forever. It usually
Right.
just like it'll go
Ebb
down
and
for
flow,
yeah.
and it comes back. Yeah. I don't know if you guys heard what I was saying. I was saying that Sophie's in the car with her mom. She says she's going to come in a bit.
Okay.
But we got a lot of people that are always listen. They're like 2 or 3 weeks behind.
I mean, to
sometimes.
be fair, to everybody,
Yeah.
we put out a ridiculous amount of content.
It's a lot.
I mean, honestly, like you know what's stupid? I kind of feel like, oh, that's still not enough. I need to put something up every day.
They can't keep up with it.
Which is dumb.
Yeah.
Because like I look at other channels that I like, and they'll put up like 1 video a week, 2
Yeah.
videos a week. We put up stuff like 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And some of that shit is like 5 hours long.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, dude, I can't even keep track of like all like the handful of channels that I like.
Yeah.
I can't even watch like 20-minute videos. Like I'm behind on all that shit.
Right.
So I can't imagine what it must be like because, and I don't even follow that. I mean, I have a lot of subscriptions to channels, but there's only like a handful that I follow like religiously. You know, they'll put up a 20-minute video. I'm like, oh, and I'll save it to my watch later playlist, and then my watch later playlist is like super long because I just never get a chance to do it. But so I get it. I don't know why I'm like this. That I feel like, however much we do, it's like never enough. Do you remember back when we first started the show? We did one show a week. This one, the episode.
I know.
And then they're like, oh, we should start doing movie reviews. So we did that. And then it just kept going on and on and on. And now we do shit. There's shit going up pretty much every day. You know what I mean? Even days that we don't stream, Thursday and Saturday, I record things to go up on those days. Like I have movie reviews that I did that I put up on those days because I feel bad. I was like, well, every day I have to put something up.
It's gonna be all right.
I don't know why I feel like that. I don't know. It's my thing. I always have to be like making something or producing something, or I feel like useless. I don't know what it is. It's a sickness. I get it.
Gotta be.
It is.
I'm messaging people, seeing if they got a place to go.
Yeah, don't like announce it.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna go
on public.
I'm doing A-listers first.
You're doing A-listers first.
Yeah, I'm doing A-listers first.
Like people we actually
actually know.
People that have actually been to our house before. You
people I actually trust won't fucking steal from my fucking house. All right. So where was I? Okay. What was I talking about? Oh, okay. So we were talking about this hotel in Deadwood. So Seth's ghost still lurking around there, staring at people, not doing their shit. What? Why are you out there smoking? Like, get to work. That kind of thing. Also, reported on multiple occasions, a bunch of guests staying in the hotel have said that they've heard their name called by a male voice when nobody is around. Creepy. Or somebody's tapping them on the shoulder. Again, creepy. Some people have reported footsteps in the hallways or whistling, and there's nobody there. There's also some kind of shit like, particularly on the second and third floor rooms, many people who have stayed at the hotel reporting taking pictures and having like weird anomalies in them. I'm guessing like orbs or weird, smudges or whatever. Alarm clocks going off when they're not plugged in. TVs going off and on, changing channels, things like that by themselves. People have seen apparitions, like sort of nebulous figures in the rooms and in the hallways. And there is supposedly in this hotel even an antique clock that is broken that sometimes will just kind of chime and go off, even though it supposedly doesn't work anymore. Now, this particular hotel, the Bullock Hotel, has been on Unsolved Mysteries, actually. I don't know what season that was, but this was one that was on there. So basically, pretty much one of the most famous haunted places in Deadwood, and as far as I know, still open. And it has a casino, if you're into that. You can get married there, if you're into that. All kind of stuff. Also has a ghost tour, because of course it does. I mean, why not? Why not cash in on that shit? DJ Maniac says, I'm an A-lister, but I'm with nowhere to go, but I'm up in New York.
Oh,
dude, I'd have you
no.
up here. I'd have you up here, no problem. But
Fly down here, can you?
Yeah, if you can fly. But if he can fly here, that means he can buy his own fucking Thanksgiving dinner, though. See, that's the thing.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that Thanksgiving dinner is always better when somebody else makes it.
You have to log that flight real quick, fly up here.
Somebody else makes it.
Be down here
and the
tomorrow.
thing about it is, like, Thanksgiving, I kind of like Thanksgiving in the U.S. is the most heavily traveled day of the year.
Normally.
Like, the time about... well, even now...
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to get home to their families because this is kind of like even more than Christmas, I think.
Right.
Because most people are kind of like, well, I'll have Thanksgiving with you guys, and then I'm going to have Christmas with my own family or the other side of the family or whatever. Yeah. So I do kind of feel like Thanksgiving is kind of a big deal for travel. And I've heard, I never was in a position where I had to travel like at flying or anything on Thanksgiving, but I've heard it is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
As I said, sometimes I'll go to see my mom or my brother.
Let's go down there. Yeah, you and Elsa come down here.
Yeah, come on.
If you can make it on time, I got the fucking food. The closest airport would have been Sanford International Airport. That's the easiest one you want to fly into. If you can get a crazy ass flight, be here by tomorrow, or probably around, I don't know.
DJ Made X says, I can't even afford a bus ticket.
Yeah, well, there we go.
I know that feeling. But if you could.
Sometimes you can get a flight down here for like $100.
Well, the thing about it, as I said, yes, we have Orlando International, but the airport that's closer to us actually is Sanford International.
It's smaller international.
And it's much smaller.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can fly from like a little more obscure airport or a little more out of the way airport to this one, and it's way, way cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's much, much easier because Orlando International, and it's not like the worst airport I've been to. The worst airport I've been to, I think, was Atlanta or Gatwick, which are like 5 fucking, terminals, and it's just a fucking clusterfuck.
What's funny about Sanford is that's where all the rich people fly in.
Well, Sanford is like it's one terminal.
It's one terminal, and it's
tiny.
And I think it was built to serve fucking downtown Sanford, or not downtown, but Sanford, where Markham Woods, Sanford, where all the
all the rich people,
are. And that's what it was meant to serve.
It's easy.
And weird, obscure, fucking airliners fucking coming in. Like, I've never heard of this airline. I flew one of them when my dad had the fucking operation. I flew out of that one to another kind of obscure. Well, I flew into New Orleans fucking international airport, and I was on a damn airplane I never even fucking heard of. I couldn't even remember it, and I got fucking great service on it. It was great. They had cute stewardesses and everything giving me. We don't know how to make a mojito. If I can, I said, you know how to make a mojito, and then if I can want to.
So you had to tell the flight attendants how to make a mojito.
Yeah, I said, do you have a mojito? And they go, no, I don't know. We don't really know how to make a mojito. And I said, yeah, I told them how to. They go, no, we don't have that.
Are you from Florida?
We have it. Yeah, they wanted to hear all about Florida and shit. Fucking yeah, it's cool. It's cool. But it was a little bitty jet.
Yeah.
And it was only what was it, $130 each way.
Was it even that much? I thought it was cheaper than that.
Might have been $70.
Yeah, I thought it was under $100.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And I was
and you went the same day because you got the phone call
the same fucking day
from your dad, and you were like, "I'm going," and you said, "Get me a flight today from Sanford."
I feel like I was cheating, like I'd found some kind of cheat code. And it was a cheap fucking flight on a great little bitty fucking jet. The jet only had like 40 people on it. It was just a little bitty jet, I don't know what kind of jet it was. Little 2-engine jet. Little 2 engines underneath.
Well, to be honest, even back in the 90s and the early 2000s, when I was like my ex-husband's relatives who are British or Welsh, when they wanted to come to Florida for vacation, most of them would fly. They're like, no, it's too expensive to fly to Gatwick or Heathrow is the main London airport. Gatwick is the slightly lesser but still kind of expensive London airport because London's so big it has 2 big massive airports. So a lot of them will fly out of Manchester, which is not that much farther, and then they'll fly to like a smaller airport. So his relatives actually flew from Manchester to Sanford. Yeah. And it was super cheap. Yeah. They were very excited about it.
That shit was cheap, and
then I mean they had to take a bus from Sanford to Orlando, but it's not that far.
Yeah. It was cheap flying to New Orleans and back, and the jet was little, and it was like flying first class, and it didn't have many people on the jet. It wasn't even like a fucking big name. I couldn't tell you what it was. The airplane was red. As I remember, the airplane was red. And good food, and everybody's fucking drinking on the plane and talking. And it didn't feel like a normal commute. It didn't really feel like a normal, like flying Delta or fucking Pan Am, where it's a big jet and everybody's in there. It's like a big bus, you know. It didn't feel like that. It felt like I was on a damn private jet.
A big bus and everybody's like clipping their toenails behind you and shit like that.
No, everybody's talking. Yeah. It was fun. It was like you're on a private jet, fucking touring around, fucking on with the rock stars and shit. Had a great time.
The only time I've been on a really small plane like that was when I flew from Daytona to Denver.
Yeah.
And then I flew from Denver to Santa Fe. And the flight from Denver to Santa Fe is like a tiny little 8-person or 12-person airplane.
Yeah.
And that was, weirdly, you would think that being in a littler plane like that, me being really afraid to fly, you'd think that'd be worse. But for some reason, it was better.
Yeah.
I don't really know why.
Let me tell you guys something. You guys may not know this. Millionaires and billionaires, like fucking super rich people that are just known, they fly all over, and they fly in and out of these little tiny, almost private airstrips, and they don't have passports. Ain't that some shit? They don't go through customs.
Well, they don't have to do shit like the rest of us plebes.
Nope, they don't have to do it like plebes. They don't go through customs.
They can get away with everything.
Passports. And that's like...
You have money and get away with it.
They almost have damn diplomatic immunity. And yes, they fucking bring drugs in doing that shit. Oh, Epstein's Island and shit fucking had big barrels of fucking... Because he was involved with a drug company, and they had big barrels of fucking mysterious fucking SARMs and weird different versions of cocaine and stuff like that. And they were transporting that all around with all their little friends. Because they don't have to go through customs. And it's not just him. They're all like that. Imagine that. No passports.
Well, yeah, like I said, the rich are a different species, pretty much. They can just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that must be like.
I'm going to have to get into that shit. I have to buy my way in.
Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. I have $1.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be up there saying.
I'm going to get involved in that shit.
Oh my God. Rebecca Dunn says, I was mortified at how small the Jacksonville, North Carolina airport was. Flew from Melbourne, Florida. Yeah, I've never been to that airport, but...
Small airports are better. You don't have to wait in all those lines.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Sanford airport, to me, seems like a really good size because it still has international flights, or at least flights that connect to international flights. But it's manageable still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not crowded, and it's nice.
I mean, even the Orlando airport, which I think is only 3 terminals, is a nightmare. I hate
jam-packed.
Driving to the Orlando airport.
The
traffic around it is a fucking nightmare. I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Picking people up is a nightmare.
Ugh, I hate it.
Leaving
I hate that
is a
fucking
nightmare.
airport. And that's not even, like I said, it's not even the worst or most crowded airport I've ever been to. Relatively, compared to Atlanta or London, it's not that crowded. Or New York, because I've been to JFK airport many times. It's not that crowded relatively, but it's still, like, the traffic around it is horrifying. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a big pain.
Sanford, you show up, you fucking get your ticket, you walk in, here's my bag, take my bag, thank you. I'm gonna get, where's the plane? Okay, I'll be right on. You're on the plane, let's fly. It's just that fucking easy.
Well, and picking somebody up.
Yeah.
You don't have to do, like, when you pick somebody up from Orlando, you can't just wait. You have to, like, drive around and around. They're like, no, you can't park here.
Yeah.
You have to keep driving around. And it's like, and the road that you have to drive around on is, like, super treacherous.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of, Orlando is, like, a big tourist destination, so it's a bunch of motherfuckers that have no idea where they're going.
Yeah.
And are from other parts of the world where they don't know how to drive or don't know how to...
Or don't care to drive.
Or don't care about driving. So it's like, it's really hair-raising, like, going there. But they are very, very... Because we've had to, like, pick people up from this airport a bunch of times, and they really will not let you... You try to get away with it. Like, you pull over in the cab, and you're just like, oh, look, there's the person. They're like, yeah, we see that.
Yeah.
We're not falling for that. Get out.
100% Tom. I don't know what you're talking about. You got to give me some. You have to give me some context, baby. 100% Tom. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's 100% Tom.
It's 100% Tom. Yeah. I don't know what she's talking about.
100% Tom.
She's agreeing with something I said, but I don't know what she's agreeing with.
Yeah, you say so much stuff.
I said so much shit.
It's really hard to, like.
Yeah.
It's really hard to determine what we're agreeing with, what we're not agreeing with.
Yeah.
But yeah, so can I talk about another story?
Go ahead. Talk
All
about
right.
it.
Now, this is a good one too. 'Cause I like this one because it's gruesome.
Okay.
So we're talking about this one. This is the legend of El Muerto.
Oh, what?
El Muerto.
El Muerto, the dead guy.
Or the Headless Horseman.
Okay. El Muerto.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mexicans just gonna say the dead guy.
The dead guy. Well, he's dead, that's for sure. So this happened in the 1800s in Texas. This is Texas. So basically, okay, so what happened? This is kind of like the whole context behind the situation. So the United States says the Rio Grande is the border between U.S. and Mexico. Mexican government says no. Actually, the border is the Nueces River. That's the border. So while they were disputing where the border was, between where those two rivers was this huge sort of lawless area that was kind of known as sort of like a no man's land type of situation, and there was like a lot of outlaw lawlessness activity going on there. Now, so this was one of the things that led up to the war with Mexico in 1846, which established the Rio Grande as the official border. But between that happening, there was like 30 years of kind of like some in-between shit where the border was kind of still disputed. So that chunk of land between those two rivers was still kind of essentially like a lawless area. Now, so the thing about it, so you had the Texas Rangers, who were kind of out there patrolling this area. Two of whom were these dudes named Creed Taylor and the dude with the fabulous name William Alexander Anderson Bigfoot Wallace, who I'm just going to call Bigfoot from now on because that's an awesome nickname. So what ends up happening? 1850. There's a dude who's like a kind of like a criminal type guy. He's known as Vidal. And he's a cattle rustler. And he's been doing this shit all over South Texas. And because he's been doing all this cattle rustling, which as we mentioned earlier, I think we've talked about horse thievery, but cattle rustling, also very serious crime. So he was doing that. And he was kind of like flaunting it, I guess. So he had a very high price on his head. So if you brought him in, dead or alive, there was a big reward. Now, what ended up happening was that in the summer of 1850, there was a raid by the Comanches, and a lot of the dudes that were supposed to be kind of like guarding this lawless area kind of went off to fight the Comanches, right? So Vidal says to himself, well, shit, all the law enforcement's gone, so I'm going to take advantage of this shit right here, and I'm just going to, like, run willy-nilly all over this area. So that's kind of what he was doing. Now, so Vidal, he had three of his buddies, his little henchmen. So they started, doing their shit. Getting a bunch of horses, cattle, shit like that. Stealing a bunch of stuff, and kind of heading toward Mexico, while most of the law enforcement was elsewhere occupied. However, among the horses that Vidal and his buddies stole were a bunch of Mustangs that actually belonged to one of the Texas Rangers of this story, Creed Taylor. Now, it so happened that Creed Taylor, although he would normally have gone along to kind of defend the territory up north against the Comanches, did not go on this occasion for whatever reason. So basically what he did was he decided, okay, I've had enough of this motherfucker stealing my motherfucking horses. And so he gets his buddy, Bigfoot. That's because, well, that was his nickname.
Yeah.
Bigfoot Wallace. I don't know why they called him that, because he was like, had big feet or he was really hairy. I don't really know. So him and Bigfoot and this other dude, like a rancher named Flores, they said, we're going to go like root this dude out. So they basically trail Vidal and his three buddies. Now, the three of them, they tracked him all through the, wilds or the plains or whatever. They found the outlaws in the camp, and then they decided to go the easy route, I guess. They waited all the bitches were asleep, and then they attacked. Which, that's probably the smartest
That's
thing.
what you do.
That's the smartest thing.
Army does the same thing.
Yeah, well, you don't want problems.
No. No, when they're unaware, that's when you attack.
It's like, you bitches gotta sleep sometime. We're just gonna, wait till you fall asleep. So that's what they did. So they waited till they fell asleep, and then they jump in, and they just start, killing all of them. So they jumped in, they killed all of them. But what they did, they said, okay, well, killing them, that's not sufficient. We also need to send a fucking message.
Okay, yeah.
So what they did was they took Vidal, and who was the leader of the horse rustling and cattle rustling gang. They cut his head off, and then they took his headless body, and they tied it into the saddle on the back of a wild Mustang. So they tied his hands to the saddle, and then they kind of wanted to hold him upright. So they tied him all upright. Also, they kind of took his head and they put a sombrero on it just to be funny, I guess. Yeah. And they kind of also tied that to the saddle so it would kind of hang, it'd swing back and forth, when the horse ran. Yeah. So they did that. And then they just let the horse loose.
Shit, horses don't like dead things.
To let it run around and let it be let this be a lesson to you. This is what will happen. Yeah. Now, what ended up happening was that over the subsequent days or weeks or whatever, obviously many people saw this horse with a headless dude sitting on it and kind of flipped out, as you would. So they would shoot at it or shoot arrows at it or whatever.
The poor horse.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, the horse lived, well, so it's fine. Right. Because I was kind of worried about that too. I was like, wait, what happened to this? But this poor horse didn't ask to be involved in this bullshit.
Yeah, horses do not like dead things.
Yeah, and you would think so. So this horse is going around with this fucking headless body sitting on it, and so. What ended up happening was that because so many people saw it and didn't really know what the fuck it was and shot at it and stuff, so this legend starts to grow up about a headless horseman type character, which they started calling El Muerto. Okay. Now eventually they did, and it became a kind of thing where it's if you see it, it became kind of like a death portent at some point. Right. It's oh man, some bad shit's gonna happen because we saw El Muerto or whatever. Now they did actually end up catching the horse at a watering hole, in Texas. And they did find this fucking desiccated ass headless corpse on the back of it. And it had a bunch of bullet holes and arrows sticking out of it and shit like that. So they cut it off of the horse. The poor horse. The horse was like, thank you. And they buried it in some unmarked grave somewhere, and they let the horse free because it was a wild Mustang. So, but because that had been such a memorable image, the legend lived on that there was this ghostly headless horseman, essentially, character that, when you saw it, that was a portent of bad fortune, you know what I mean? But it was actually supposedly based on a real thing because some dudes were yeah, we're gonna strap a headless dude to a horse and let it run around, and everybody fucking shot at it and stuff. Apparently that really did happen, but that's where that legend came from. But yeah, so even nowadays, people have seen or say they've seen a ghostly one, a headless horseman, essentially, running around. I think there was a report of it in 1917. A couple that were going out to San Diego, they said that they saw a horse, a ghostly horse with a headless dude on it. So that's kind of another thing too. All right, so let's talk about Tombstone, Arizona. Probably one of the most famous towns of the Old West. It's funny, I was watching something about the history of Tombstone. The reason that it's called Tombstone, because I always wondered about this, was because the guy who founded it, when he was gonna go out, I don't think he was going out to found a town necessarily, but he was going out to, I can't remember what it was, mine for gold or mine for silver or something. And all his friends told him, and he said, oh, I'm going to this area. And they were like, well, it's your funeral or it's your tombstone. And when he went out there, he actually found like this huge vein of silver or whatever, and he made all this money and ended up founding a town. And just to fuck with them, he called it Tombstone because he's like, you guys said that this would be my tombstone, and now I'm rich, so fuck you. So it was that kind of situation. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard. So yeah, so probably the most famous thing that happened in Tombstone, probably like the OK Corral, obviously, which we'll get into in a minute. But what ended up happening, so like I said, there's so many fucking ghost stories from Tombstone, and I think these are like the last ones I'm going to cover because I'm probably getting too drunk to talk about it at this point.
Yeah, well, I gotta catch up with cooking and stuff too. Gonna have to like prep for green bean casserole. If y'all know what I'm talking about, it's the green beans with the fucking Campbell soup with the Campbell mushroom soup, creamy mushroom soup, and the fucking fried onions on top. I'm gonna do that.
Okay, talk for a second. I gotta pee.
I'm going to make Brazilian cream style corn. Okay. And see what else I got to make for tomorrow. I think that's it. Now I got to bake the turkey. Got to do 2 different kinds of gravies. I'm going to do a regular yellow turkey gravy. And then everything that's going to come out of my stock pot, because my stock is what I'm going to put. And then the green gravy has got the giblets and the damn celery and onions out of the damn stock pot. I make a gravy out of that too. So that's kind of like I don't know, that's just how I do it. Because I can't bring myself to throw that stock away, you know? And I like those giblets. I don't like all the damn liver. I like a little bit, but I don't like a lot of it. I only use about half of it.
Well, liver is a very distinctive flavor.
Yeah, I only use a little bit of it.
It's good in very, very small doses, but not so much in.
But I like that chewy giblets, and I like the fucking neck meat. I think there's a heart in there. Dang. Go back and
Is
look
there?
at it. No, maybe not.
I thought there was.
Yeah, there might be. I gotta go back and look.
Because I thought you talked about
I
that
just
last
have all
year.
that shit thawing right now. It's in water. It's thawing. I'll go back and look at it again. Came out of that bag.
Yeah.
If there's a
All
heart
right.
in there, that'll go in there too.
Okay. So let's talk about a couple of the ghosts in Tombstone, and then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah.
Because
It's getting late.
we're getting drunk and we got food
Yeah.
to cook. So let's talk about Tombstone.
Okay.
So, like I said, whole bunch of ghost stories from fucking Tombstone, man.
Yeah. OK Corral.
Yeah, that too. And honestly, like, go BuzzFeed Unsolved, they did a whole, like, Tombstone episode. So they did a whole OK Corral thing. They did a whole bunch of shit, and it was, like, funny. I watched that earlier.
The best show on the OK Corral is on Star Trek, the original series, where Kirk and McCoy and Spock all get
I remember that
trapped
one.
in the melatonin fucking the Melcott fucking simulation where they're going to be judged based upon the OK Corral. Yeah, that was the best one. The actual OK Corral actually fucking not a lot of dudes got killed. And both sides were bad. The sheriff was kind of fucking
Well,
bad.
I kind of feel
They were all
like,
bad.
I mean, if you go there now, obviously it's a tourist destination nowadays, and they have figures of all the people in the exact positions that they were supposedly in when the gunfight took place, right?
Yeah.
Now, from my understanding, I kind of feel like maybe this was the law enforcement being a little overzealous.
Just because you had a badge didn't mean that you were really the good
That's
guy.
what I'm
That
saying.
was just another gang.
Because I mean, yeah, the other ones were a gang, and and a couple of them were armed, but a couple of them weren't.
They were basically fighting over women. That's really when you get down to it. They were kind of fighting over women. The law wanted the other guys out. A lot of it had to do with the saloons and the women in the area, if you ask me.
They didn't they apparently, this is how it's supposed to go. They apparently didn't like that the gang came in and some of them were armed. Like I said, not all of them were. So they were basically like, because they did have a law at that time back then that
you're supposed to chuck your weapons.
you weren't really you weren't really supposed to be walking around with like guns. I know, because I kind of feel like people see westerns and they think everybody's just walking around with guns on their hips
Not
all
in
the time.
town.
That was actually that was against the law, and that was kind of one of the things that the sheriffs were like, they thought that the gang was coming in there trying to cause trouble because a couple of them were armed. Like I said, not all of them were, but a couple of them did have guns. So
alternate versions of the story involve women, though. That there was also a backstory between the two.
there might have been, yeah.
That they were competing for the same group of women at the local bar. At the local, I don't want to call it, the women weren't allowed in saloons. That's something you only see in TV. But they had little cat houses and parlors and shit. And that particular gang was evidently kind of popular with the women, and they weren't considered to be fucking legitimate dudes. They were kind of borderline kind of criminals, and the law didn't want them in there. But those dudes were bad too. It was.
Yeah, it was
I
kind of
think
like
most likely it was women were involved in it. It always gets back to that. Money and women is
we're the cause for everything.
well, in the old West, that had a lot to do with things. Money, women, and really money always had to do. Excuse me, booze and women. That was a big thing, and money. Okay, money represented booze and women to these guys. All right,
which
which
that
is
makes
the
sense.
same thing.
Yeah.
So really, it all kind of goes back down to fucking women.
Not a lot of pleasures back then, so I
Right.
guess you kind of had to take what you
They would
could get.
compete for women, and that's what I think the OK Corral was mostly was about. Really, women, keeping those dudes out. They were probably too hot. They're probably hot.
It might have been.
And yeah, they're
You
not
guys are
telling-
cuter than us, goddamn it.
Yeah, that's
Even
it's
you.
coming. It's coming. Is it back? It's
Reconnection
reconnected.
successful.
It's reconnected. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know how much of that, guys, you lost. It boils down to women. If you ask me, probably it's what it was. They were probably cuter than the law, and the law had to get rid of them. The women, too much attention for the women. It's always something fucking dumb like that. Yeah, they might have been shifty, but shifty men women like guys that are like that. You know, just
Well, up to a point.
up to a certain point. So it was probably something like that, most likely. Fucking Old West, the West. The Old West was a trip. You know, they were dumb and competed for women a lot, and that's just what I think it was.
Well, women were an uncommon commodity, I
Yeah.
guess. There weren't enough women to go around.
No. And you know, you're the law, and this is your town, and you trying to fucking dominate, and you're fucking these women all belong to you, and these new dudes come in, and they're hotter than you, and you're just gonna have to put your foot down. That's probably what more to do than anything. Yeah, you couldn't carry a gun into town, but dudes did it anyway. And they also had permits for it if the locals would allow. You know, if the local sheriff said, yeah, you could carry a gun, then you could. You probably had to pay, maybe, or it was just something he signed on paper, or just some kind of agreement. But then another thing is that they didn't want you openly carrying lever action carbines or fucking break breech double barreled shotguns, and they didn't want you carrying fucking 6-shooters on your fucking hips openly. You had to check those into the fucking sheriff's office on your way in. But they were kind of lenient about vest pocket pistols, which were 2-barrel Derringers. They knew everybody was carrying them. Some of them were carrying single-shot pistols in their boots. You weren't supposed to be doing that, but sometimes they let it slide. It's kind of like they didn't see. They were like, well, that's a defensive weapon. That's just in case somebody, you know what I mean? Now, if you shot somebody unjustly, they'd hang you. But the Old West, what they considered to be self-defense was fucking pretty lenient. If somebody said something sideways and fucking made a move towards you, you could fucking blow them away. So it kept them all polite. This is a dueling society. I totally believe in dueling. Dueling would prevent a lot of shit. But if you're going to duel, there has to be a public challenge, and there's got to be lawyers involved, and a place and a time to do the duel. And people have to say, yeah, this duel's going to happen, and
everyone has to agree to it, and
right.
everyone has to agree to the terms.
Right. And you can use the duel to call bullshit on a motherfucker. Okay, well, you don't accept the challenge, then you're a liar, or you're a coward. You shouldn't have said what you said. Take it back. That type of deal. I totally believe in that. And some people would be like, well, what are you talking? dueling was never adjudicated. It was never really adjudicated out of the American system. It really should be there. It was just over time, people said, nah, we're not going to do that. It legally should be there. If the state can legally wage war against another state and draft men to fight that war for them, what gives the state the right to deny a man his own right to declare war against another individual? It's totally unconstitutional.
Well, like I said, if you had, if there were parameters in place where everyone consented, it's like, yeah, we're all going to sign this thing, that these are the conditions.
We're going to war. Right.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
Honestly.
And that would stop a lot
as long as everybody's consenting, everybody knows what's going to happen.
It would act as a pressure valve. And then anybody who kills somebody else outside of a duel, you can now label him an assassin. Okay, that's a big difference. Okay, if you're a fucking assassin, then oh man, that's the lowest of the low. Because if you want to kill a dude, challenge him to a fucking duel.
Yeah, that would be like saying you don't have any honor.
You don't have any fucking honor.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And if he says no, then that's because he's a bitch. He's a bitch. He's a punk, and he's a hoe. Oh man.
All of those things.
All of them together at once. Back to the OK Corral, which was kind of like a duel in a way.
Well, we're talking about Tombstone in general.
Yeah,
I'll get to
Tombstone.
the OK Corral.
Okay.
I'm just talking about, like, generally ghosts
Right,
that
yeah.
I've seen around Tombstone. And then we'll get to OK Corral as well.
Right.
So, one of the ghosts that is supposedly supposed to haunt Tombstone is this dude named Marshall Fred White. Now, in 1880, this dude was actually accidentally, this is kind of shitty, he was accidentally shot by a guy named Curly Bill Brocious. Curly Bill Brocious. He was the head of the cowboy gang. Now, what ended up happening was that Marshall Fred White apparently was kind of like, he was the first marshal of Tombstone. And he was kind of like, even though he was a lawman, he was kind of respected by gang. Like, you know, the Clanton gang was all kind of like, all right, he's all right. And he had actually arrested some other members of the gang, and nobody had really given him trouble about it. But what happened, though, was that this dude who was one of the gang leaders, the cowboy faction leader, Curly Bill, they decided, him and his buddies, they're going to come in town, and just for shits and giggles, they're going to shoot up the place, which, not really an ideal situation. So they're going to come in and shoot up the place. So the marshal comes in, tries to take his gun away, because he's like, dude, what the fuck are you even doing? At which point he gets shot accidentally, and it hits him right in the groin. Every man watching this is now like, ooh, yeah, hit right. I don't know if it was the testicle or just in the fucking, I don't know.
There's a lot of places it could have gone.
That's what I'm saying.
Probably just through the
groin is a big area. What is it? Did he shoot him in the dick? Was it a testicle? I don't really know. Now, they thought that he'd been shot in the groin, so they're like, well, he'll probably recover. However, he did not. He died 2 days later. He was like, if I don't have my groin, I can't live anymore. And he just gave up the ghost, I guess. I'm making that up. So apparently that dude is still supposed to haunt the place where he got shot. He's like, you shot my dick!
Yeah.
The you shot my dick ghost. Sorry, dude. That's a shitty way to go. But yeah, so he's supposed to haunt there. There's another ghost that is supposed to be... Oh, it's going red again. God damn it. We've had a lot of trouble with this shit tonight. It's like, it's not like, it's not turning off all the way, but it just seems like it's really intermittent.
Yeah, it'll
you know what I'm saying?
Like it's having a problem.
Yeah, it's like, it's making me really, it's stressing me out.
Right.
Danny Rolling Ghostface says, Tombstone Frozen Pizzas, put that place on the map.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good, actually.
Well, it's got quite a name, so it's been remembered, and some shit happened there, but...
I mean, well, they made that movie, too. Well, they made more than one movie, but there was that one movie called Tombstone that had Val Kilmer in that shit.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Val Kilmer.
There's been a lot of different spins on the OK Corral incident.
Well, it's because,
You'll never know
I mean,
exactly
so
what
many
happened.
people were involved that... no one's entirely sure what because everybody kind of has a different story about it.
And everyone over time has had their own interpretation. Even the people that were there don't agree on what exactly happened or why.
Well, and as time goes on, you're just like, man, why did we even start shooting people? Man, I don't remember.
I think it was about women.
Isn't it always?
Yeah, I think it was.
You dudes shooting each other over girls.
I think it was jealousy, I think.
It might have been. Yeah, like you said. That'd have been really funny, the whole OK Corral thing. People talk about it 100-something years later. That it was just kind of like, well, we don't like that these dudes came in town that are kind of like bad boys and they're like hotter than us.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was.
We're gonna like go.
You can't come in this town.
We're gonna clamp down on that.
You gotta get out of this town. That's probably what awesome. It was. That's what made the most sense to me. Because if not, then these shootouts would have happened all the time everywhere. Because a lot of the dudes were doing what... That situation was over. This was a personal situation. If you ask me, it wasn't just run-of-the-mill law enforcement. It was.
Well,
just
they seem
dudes.
to have a personal beef.
Yeah, it was personal. Yeah.
Because, as I mentioned, they were kind of like, hey, like, one of you guys is carrying. I think 2 of the gang had guns, but the rest of them didn't. So the fact that they called them out on it, when, like you said, other people were probably carrying and got away with it, they're like, they were just looking for some shit.
Yeah.
And they kind of came in and announced, apparently the gang is just kind of like hanging out in this lot and they weren't really doing anything.
Yeah.
And the law enforcement kind of comes over and is like, hey, you guys looking for a fight?
Yeah.
And I think the first quote of one of them said was like, hey, we're not.
Yeah, that's how I remember.
We're not looking for a fight. It's fine. We're just like hanging out.
I don't remember all the details. Just that once I studied it years ago, and I came away with the opinion is that what it was is that these bad boys blew into town that were hotter than the cops, and the cops weren't standing for it, and they were all about the same age. Okay. The cops weren't taking it. They were like, "No, y'all don't need to be around here." Which the only reason why dudes would do that is because they don't want women that they're running or gunning for. They don't want them to see these dudes. That's what it is. That's what I think.
Because we will look shitty by comparison.
They're like fucking. It's something like that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
You can't come into my town. I don't want these women seeing you.
Looking all foxy like that.
That's probably what it is. Don't be high-minded. It's going to be something dumb. Dumb and real understandable. If you've seen them, it probably makes it...
Well, why it's funny to me is that I kind of...
something real obvious.
Why that's funny to me is because I kind of feel like a lot of dudes have a perception that women are like that. There's like, oh, well, we don't want like hotter girls than us like
dudes
around.
are like that.
But in my experience, it's funny that dudes kind of shit on women for being that way. I'm like, no, dudes are totally like that.
Men are projecting.
Exactly. That's why that's funny to me.
Yeah.
Because it's totally projection.
Yeah.
That's totally projection. That's what I think is like. I'm not saying that like women aren't like, I don't want to like stand next to a hotter girl, because that does happen. But you don't want to like stand next to somebody that's going to make you look like a sack of shit in comparison. But
and the lawmen and the big players of that town, Doc Holliday was one of them. They were running game on that town. They were the fucking kings of the roost. They had all the attention of all the hotties. They weren't going to let these dudes come in there. All right, that's what it would.
It's like, ooh, like I said, they're bad boys.
Yeah, that's what it was. I think that's what it was. Because if you guys know Doc Holliday,
they have more teeth than us.
Doc Holliday was a fucking player. Okay, he was a player, and his main girlfriend worked in one of those brothels. She was a star, and they didn't want them fucking cuties coming in here fucking doing business with the fucking
horning in on
they
their
don't want that.
poon.
They didn't want that.
Nobody wants.
That was my take on it back then. You're gonna refresh my memory as the story unfolds.
I mean, that sounds about right, though.
That's how I remember. I was going, that's probably what it was. Because you got to read in between the lines. This is man business.
Because why did they pick on those dudes particularly?
Exactly. It didn't have anything to do with crime or anything like that. It was they didn't want them hot motherfuckers coming in there.
We don't want you out of it.
Yeah. And they were looking for trouble. Some of them wanted to leave. And other ones were like, oh, no, they shouldn't be kicking us out. We hadn't done anything wrong. And, that's what it was.
That's kind of the perception that I had.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like they came into town and they were just not doing... I mean, they were just hanging out. They weren't doing anything. They were just, like, standing around.
They probably didn't know why the law was picking on them. Because they probably...
Well, that was... Like I said, I kind of feel like that's kind of the main quote. The cops kind of came and were like, oh, you guys are looking for a fight. They're like, nah, bro, we're just, like, hanging out.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything.
Yeah, what he really meant is y'all in here looking for pussy, aren't you?
Yeah.
And they would have been, yeah, I guess so. You can't not in my town. That's what the root.
Those are all ours.
Yeah.
All the pussy is ours. All the pussy is belong to us.
All the best pussy, we're already hitting it. Y'all can't come in here. Because the second, third rate shit, we know the second, third rate shit you're not going to be fucking interested in. And you're definitely not getting ours. That's probably what it was.
That sounds about
My
right.
man detector detects that's what the
sounds about
situation was.
You act like I'm high-minded when it comes to dudes. I'm like, no, when it's dudes, I just assume that it's the dumbest shit possible.
Yeah, and they're not going to tell it.
It usually is.
They're not going to tell it in this way.
They'll justify it later.
Exactly.
Like they have some kind of smart. I'm like, nah.
They were dangerous guys, and we
That's
could tell
not why.
fucking they were up to no good, and they were up to no good, and we had.
I see right through that shit. I see right through that shit.
That's probably not what it was.
Y'all think you're being like all like subterfuge and stuff. It's like it's not working. It's not working.
But
Danny Rolling Ghostface says, known by the ladies as Cock Holiday.
Cock Holiday. Well, fucking Holiday was fucking when he would roll up into the saloon and play fucking play cards and shit. He was always known to carry a big old glass jar.
Believe in you.
It's back. It's
I
coming
believe in
back. Yeah, we're having all. As soon as we start talking about anything racy, fucking, they want to shut us down. I'm gonna go to the restroom. Go ahead and read.
Well, like I said, I was talking about ghosts and random candy and shit like that, and it shut down, so it doesn't have anything to do with anything. I know you like to like make patterns out of shit, but yeah. Ilsa said I just pictured like cowboy Chippendales. Dan scratched the part. Oh my God! Has somebody please tell me that somebody's made a porn parody of the OK Corral situation where it's like. Fucking Clanton gang's coming in like all like fucking naked with little rawhide chaps on and shit. Oh my God, that'd be so fucking funny. Tom and Jenny, have you seen Wyatt Earp? I haven't. I don't think I've seen it. I saw Tombstone, which was actually really good, but I don't think I've seen Wyatt Earp actually. Cause I'm not super into westerns. I like some, but you know, it's not usually a genre I seek out. Yeah, Hugo says you're back. Yeah, sorry, we keep like cutting out. I don't know what the fucking deal is. I don't know. Our internet is drunk. As drunk as I am. Yeah, so where was I? Yeah, dude got shot in the groin. That would blow, and then died 2 days later and still haunts the shit, which I would too, to be fair. If I was shot in the groin and then died from it. So there's another ghost that people have seen in Tombstone. So apparently there's this dude and he has this big like black frock coat and he's been seen on a bunch of occasions like kind of crossing the road, and he's been seen in the right near the area where Virgil Earp, not Wyatt Earp's brother, was ambushed and shot in the arm. Because I don't know if you guys know, but after the OK Corral situation happened, most of the law enforcement dudes involved in that shootout ended up getting essentially assassinated later on. You know, so there was that. So yeah, Virgil Earp got ambushed and shot in the arm, but we've seen this ghost in this same location where that happened. So maybe people are thinking this ghost is actually Virgil Earp. Maybe. Is it going red again?
Yeah, it stopped for a bit, but it's coming back.
It's starting to make me mad.
Yeah, look at it.
It's doing a thing. Give me more alcohol. I'm getting mad.
Yeah.
Give me more alcohol.
Oh, get you more alcohol? Okay, it's good.
I need more alcohol while this is like blinking. It's like it's blinking all the fucking lights at me. It's making me angry. It's making me angry. Why? Why are you doing this?
I don't know. It's back. It's green.
Okay, but it went red again a second ago too. I don't know, man. What the fuck? We don't live in fucking Antarctica. What the fuck's going on?
No, man.
Jesus Christ. I don't know. I get really annoyed when shit doesn't like fights. It's 21st fucking century, goddammit. I don't understand why it's not working. Alright. So so another ghost that people have reported, that there is a woman in a long white dress walking around the streets of Tombstone. Now, nobody knows... Oh, thank you. Nobody knows exactly who this woman is. Some people think that she is the mother of a kid who died of yellow fever in the 1880s, as a lot of people did. Some people thought that she was maybe a madam of a brothel who was hanged for whatever reason, and is kind of like walking around looking for the people that hanged her so she can fuck them up in her ghostly way. Nobody knows. Now, much like we mentioned earlier, every single fucking town in the Old West, god damn it, don't you go red again. Come on. Okay. Every single fucking town in the Old West has burned down at least once. Tombstone had two of these things happen.
It's red.
Oh, yep.
The fuck is wrong with this shit?
I don't know, but it's making me angry. It's making me angry. I'm gonna
Yeah,
honk
it's
out.
green.
I'm
What
gonna
is
honk
wrong
out.
with this shit? Now it's back to green. Now, okay, it's good.
It's doing that
It's
thing.
not good.
It's doing that thing that it's doing.
Damn.
I mean, like, I'm almost done. I'm just, you know.